The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be? For me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to this simulcast stream talking about the very, very fascinating Brandon Aiyuk situation. I'm here joined by the coach, San Francisco 49ers diehard, talking about this situation. And this has so many layers, and both fan bases, one indirectly, the other directly, have been impacted by this. And no two fan bases have been following this situation closer than these two. And it feels like all of a sudden there's this this groundswell of emotion that I feel like is been mismanaged and misdirected and misguided between the fan bases. It feels like all of a sudden now there's a bit of animosity towards 49ers fans from Commanders fans and Commanders fans to 49ers fans and vice versa. That is unnecessary, right? Like the real issue at hand is between Brandon Aiyuk and the 49ers organization. And the only thing that the Commanders fans have invested here is whether or not he's going to be released. Anything other than that is none of our business, to be honest with you. It's just like this never-ending soap opera that just continues to give us great content. But we've talked about it from our perspective as Commanders fans. And I am really fascinated because I've watched a bunch of 49ers videos, including yours, when it comes to Brandon Aiyuk and this whole entire situation. I want to go back to the very beginning, though, because you guys have more of the information as to how we even got here than anybody else does, right? You listen to all of these talking heads and people who are supposed to be in the know, but they don't really have the information. So I would like you to walk the Commanders fan base and some 49ers fans that may not be privy to this information, walk us through sort of a timeline of how we got to present day where Brandon Aiyuk is calling out the NFLPA, Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, the agent, and everyone that is involved that he feels like has wronged him in this situation. Walk us through how we got to where we are right now.
Well, first of all, Lou, I just want to thank you for welcoming me to the platform, and I'm welcoming you to ours, man. Got a little bit of love. I just want to let you know I'm also in the DMV area, so I've had a chance to be Commanders adjacent, to be able to watch the Commanders and see the ups and the many downs
of
the organization. So I felt like not only did I want to connect with you, bro, but I felt like that we have a unique perspective to this entire saga at large. So let's just start with the full saga from start to finish. 2016 to 2017, Brandon Aiyuk was lightly recruited in high school, okay? He only played 1 year of high school ball, then didn't have the grades in D1, went to JUCO for 2 years. Out of JUCO for 2 years, went to Arizona State, transferred from in 2018 and 2019, sat behind N'Keal Harry in 2018. Then he exploded in 2019, 65 catches, 1,192 yards, and 8 touchdowns. All-team Pac-12 wide receiver and a returner, developed under Herm Edwards. Now, this is important. Herm Edwards was then former coach of 49ers current GM, John Lynch. So we fast forward into 2020 April. We fast forward into 2020 April. The Niners traded up for Brandon Aiyuk. So it all counts. All right, we're going to go from the nitty-gritty. Let's go from the nitty-gritty. The Niners traded up for Brandon Aiyuk, went up to number 25, traded picks to Minnesota, and picked him up. In 2020 to 2022, Brandon Aiyuk came in a COVID season. Now, I don't expect you to understand this, but for the Niners, everybody knows that it's customary that it is hard for rookies to get on the field. We got a little bit of a hard toe with our young guys, all right? We make them earn it. And in order for you to not only get on the field and be trusted and have utilization and be an offensive rookie, that's a lot of hurdles that Brandon Aiyuk kind of got to skip over with the COVID year, with us not having a lot of players around. The Niners were woefully injured in 2020. And what happened is that he got himself a lot of production in a rookie year. Now, COVID ends, we come back, and Brendan has a little bit of a problem being put into the natural order of things, right? More of our veteran receivers are back. Brandon thinks that he should be getting the ball more. He's coming off of 1 year of production in college, okay? This is a kid that's played 1 year of high school ball, 2 years of JUCO ball, and he's just had his rookie year where he's been featured in an unrealistic one-off scenario inside of the NFL. So we had a scenario that was going on, kind of a saga. 49ers fans listening to me right now, they understand it. It's the doghouse years. This is when Brandon Aiyuk kind of had a little bit of a diva mentality. He wanted the ball, but he didn't want to block. The rules here in the San Francisco 49ers is no block, no rock, all right? So if you don't block, you don't play, all right? And there was a serious issue, not with Brandon Ayuk's on-field play, but there was an issue with how he was approaching the game as a pro. Was he actually practicing hard? Were the other veteran pros on our team that everybody knows the names of, the Nick Bosas, the Fred Warners, the Trent Williams, when they're having a side eye at you and kind of questioning your effort, if you're really serious about preparation, then that's something that comes across. And it did. There was times where Brandon Aiyuk had to get sat down for multiple games, didn't necessarily get the full bevy of targets and receiving yards that he should have gotten had he been a participant and willing participant during those years. But alas, he found himself out of the doghouse years in 2023. In 2023, Brandon Aiyuk had a career year, 75 catches, 1,300 yards, 42 for context, 7 touchdowns, second team All-Pro, and then and this was the famous ladybug catch that he had in the playoffs. That was peak Aiyuk. All right, this is the best he's been, 1,300 yards. This is where it all starts. February 11, 2024, the Super Bowl. The Niners are facing this Kansas City Chiefs. In that Super Bowl, he goes 3 for 6, only 6 targets for 49 yards and no touchdowns. After that game, when we lost, this is when the social media shit starts. We start seeing tweets from Brandon Aiyuk. Don't forget what got you there. Now, mind you, you know that we're going into Brandon Aiyuk's negotiation year, right? So he's open right now. We start seeing all of these tweets from Brandon Aiyuk, and obviously nobody's really taking this stuff that seriously because we're jilted, right? We just lost the Super Bowl,
right?
And we feel as though that we should have won that game. That was probably it was really one of the weirdest 49ers years in this regime with Kyle Shanahan because we were so healthy. And when do you know the Niners to be healthy, Lou? When?
Never,
right? So that was a crazy year for us, right? It just seemed like everything was lining up. Right. I really believe that even to this day, we're still licking our wounds from that Super Bowl loss, right? There was a lot of things that we put all in on, some contracts that we went and bought, so we cooked the books a little bit, and we're back, right? We're slowly but surely getting draft classes back, but that Super Bowl loss was a big blow. Not just for Brandon Aiyuk. And I think that's another aspect of this that does not get highlighted. Brandon Aiyuk was upset about not getting targeted in that game. But the entire fucking team was upset about losing that game as well. All right? Dre Greenlaw goes down in that game with an Achilles tear. All right?
Running on to the field.
Come on, man. Christian McCaffrey uncharacteristically fumbles early in that game. Has to pick himself up. George Kittle is not focused in that game. We actually got production out of Brock Purdy. This was one of those times where, just to give you a fly-on-the-wall perspective as a Niners fan, this is around those times where the coach speak, the bravado that you want to see out of your men, it just wasn't there. They were looking for questions. So this wasn't that moment about Brandon Aiyuk being upset that he didn't get targeted in the Super Bowl. That's true. But if we widen the lens a little bit, there are so many other players who could have took the route that he did. All right? And they did not. Yeah. So what we do is we move forward. Now we have the summer of 2024. This is when it gets a little gnarly.
Yeah.
It's a contract circus. We know that Brandon Aiyuk had trade requests. All right. He starts bringing up context of talking about stick talk. He does a podcast with what's Ryan Clark and the boys?
The Pivot
podcast.
The Pivot.
You can't afford a Lamborghini. Palling around with you guys, boy. JD5. All right.
I mean, that's when we first got introduced to this whole saga. Is when he's watching
there you go
with Jaden and Jaden had got reprimanded messing around with Brandon Aiyuk because he was showing him things that he shouldn't have been showing him. And so that's when we first got introduced to Brandon Aiyuk in this whole saga, to be honest with you.
Oh, yes. And you know what else is also important to bring up is that it just wasn't you guys. It was the Steelers and it was the Patriots. All right. They were in on Brandon Aiyuk as well. All right. So we know that in 2024, Brandon Aiyuk was basically a hold in. All right. Yep. He was around, then he wasn't around. Right. I actually was at camp in Santa Clara that year. In 2024. So I was there in person watching Brandon Aiyuk walk onto the field and hugging John Lynch awkwardly. And it was just a shit show, bro. And really what it was is this is the crux of how all of this starts. So the devil is in the details, bro. We have a weird organization as far as infrastructure is concerned because our head coach is final say in word.
Right.
Right. So
he hired John Lynch.
He hired John Lynch, right? And we know that this ain't the way it works in the NFL organization, right? The head coach is not calling all of the shots. I mean, all of the goddamn shots. And then on top of it, not only is he not calling all the shots, but he doesn't have a straw man who he hired that's purposely there to take the bullets and to obfuscate communication where we're trying to figure out, well, who is to blame? Who's responsible? Who did this? So this is the shell game. That it's like being a 49ers fan. We're like in freaking Pyongyang. All right. It's North Korea over here in a sense because we're not necessarily sometimes we get propagandized. Sometimes we get the truth in plain sight. Other times we have to piece it together like private eyes. But they do a really good job at the number one thing is staying hired. That's the common denominator. Staying hired and being able to give us a product. So moving forward, we get through the 2024 and the 2024 saga. And really what happens is that the reason why I brought up the Steelers and the Patriots, as well as the Commanders, were also teams that were vying for Brandon Aiyuk, is that this was at the time when Brandon Aiyuk was healthy. All right. And the Niners were milling behind an organizational pull in wanting to use Brandon Aiyuk as an asset and move on from him, and a coaching pull where he was pertinent to what they do as a team, and they wanted him there, right? And they were trying to get him paid. Because of that, I think that Brandon Aiyuk was in a position where the business of how his contract played out, he doesn't have the stomach for it. And what I mean by that is that's not hyperbole. That's not me shooting from the hip. When Brandon Aiyuk signed his 4-year, $120 million extension, okay, $23 million signing bonus, $76 million guaranteed at an average of $30 million per year. He acknowledged at the podium, Lou, that he made the process harder than it needed to be.
Yeah, I remember reading the quote.
It. Yeah, and honestly, I think if you're reading the room, it was a breath of fresh air for some people, but you can also imagine that could really piss off some other people who are in the room when you say that, right? When it's like, so you put us through all of this and now you want to come out and admit that you made this harder than it needed to be. And he said it sheepishly, right? Yeah. It
was a throwaway line. It was a
throwaway line, but it hit, right? Yeah, it wasn't everything, but it was something, and when he went through that, I think that, to be real, the organization was split. I believe that as far as the players are concerned and the coaching staff, BA is back and we wanted him back. The organization, I don't know, man. I just felt like there were a lot of people who feel like we didn't want this guy. We had a lot of deals to move on from him. Kyle Shanahan came in at the last second when Brandon Aiyuk was not communicating with the team. This is not the first time that Brandon Aiyuk has gone persona non grata with the Niners, Lou. When he was going through his contract negotiations in 2024, Brandon Aiyuk essentially burned 3 trade deals because of his lack of communication. And they were getting to the point where the Niners were trying to give Brandon Aiyuk the benefit of the doubt to trade him to a place where he wanted to go, where they wanted to talk, where they could be able to talk about this traditionally, but they can't get a hold of this man. So Brandon Aiyuk has a trend. When he is upset, he gets ghost.
Mhm.
He goes off into his own situation. And the organization had made the decision to move forward with a team that was ready to move to take on Brandon Aiyuk's rights and sign him to his deal. During that time, there was only one person that physically could get in contact with Brandon, and that was Kyle Shanahan. Kyle got in contact with Brandon Aiyuk. Brandon Aiyuk then let Kyle know, hey, I'm amenable to the deal. I want to take the deal. Kyle goes up, not to say, hey, guys, it's all over. I want to be clear about this. It wasn't like Kyle said, all right, you guys take the night off, hit the showers. Brandon called me, it's all good. No. What happened was it opened the debate again, which was, all right, now we got him in tow. He's actually here, and we're contacting him. Let's do a vote. And to some people, you can only feel if you're in the room, is this really a vote? Right? That we're just opening back up. Let's just get it over with and keep him. We know why you guys are stopping this process. We're here to sign him. So the conversation and the rhetoric from Brandon Aiyuk is just confusing when he talks about how he feels about Kyle and John. Right? It's a little confusing when you talk about how they brought this guy in, right? How Herm Edwards and John Lynch had a personal relationship to curate this guy in through. They traded up for Brandon Aiyuk because of that relationship. And it's just a shame. To move forward, what we do is we get him signed, and then Brandon Aiyuk starts playing in 2024. He tears his ACL in week 7, his ACL and his MCL in week 7, and he's done for the year. The final tally for that year in 2024 was 25 catches, 374 yards, 0 TDs in 7 games. He hasn't played a snap since. In July 18th, 2025, Brandon Aiyuk was placed on the PUP list, all right, to start his rehab from knee injuries. Lou, you and I both know the NFL players get paid to rehab. Yes. NFL
Are you
players,
asking me?
yes, I'm asking you. Yes.
Yeah.
The NFL players get paid to rehab.
Yes.
When they show up in the building, are they getting paid to rehab? Or is it all on the arm? No. They're getting paid to rehab. The reason why that's important is because Brandon Aiyuk was not showing up to his paid rehab sessions that he had with the Niners. Which is
so
cool.
I don't know if you heard Dick Sherman, right? But he on his podcast basically said you can rehab away from the team. That's fine if you choose to do so, but you have to show up. I think he said 4 days prior to the start of training camp so that the team can properly advise. Yes, in advance of training camp, so they can properly evaluate you to make sure that you've hit all the markers, everything is sound structurally, and that you're in a position that they need you to be in order to, get on the same page with you and get you back to where they need you to be.
That is 1,000% correct. Not only did he bring that up, but Richard Sherman also brought that up.
That's who I'm talking about. That's what I call him, Dick.
Yes.
Sherman.
Dick Sherman. I'm sorry. Yo, you're hilarious. So Dick Sherman is stupid. All right. So yeah, he didn't show up, right? So there's a trend. Before Brandon Aiyuk got signed to his deal, they couldn't find him. He wouldn't show up because he was upset that they were trying to trade him, right? Now, he gets hurt. Like you said, you do not have to, there are many players on the Niners. Nick Bosa does not train with the organization. He goes back to Florida and trains on his own, right? But you have to come in, all right? You have to come in. Now, this is where the dirty pool comes in because I'm giving a lot of context, but I don't want to fake like I don't see things that help Brandon. There may be some dirty pool, bro. How do you, as an organization, how can John Lynch show up to Brandon Aiyuk's house uninvited, right? Which we know happened by Brandon's accounts. But you can't bring your ass to his house when he done missed rehab for 4 days. It makes sense. So that's a part where the Niners have to own that there was a little bit of them that wanted this deal to go. They were actively trying to figure out how to get Brandon Aiyuk off the books because there's a lot of things that don't make sense. You can't be so wrapped up and into your players that you're willing to to put the key in the ignition and drive to their home and show up in their driveway. But all of a sudden, you void their guarantees and let their contract fall through the cracks because you, quote unquote, can't get in contact with them. Stop it. On top of the fact that the agent and the GM, they share the same agent, Brandon Aiyuk and the GM. So those are things where the Niners look bad, in my opinion, because you can't piss on my face and tell me it's raining. And what they're doing is sometimes the Niners will play in your face, basically. And we all know what playing in your face means, right? Where they will lie and just push it along. So them acting like the Niners pontificating or posturing as if Brandon Aiyuk not showing up for his rehab is just an egregious enough an infraction to shut down his void his guarantees. That's bullshit. All right. You guys were looking for an avenue to get rid of this kid. All right. And they did. So this is where things get hazy for me. There's an 8-month lull from basically July when he gets his guarantees voided. Okay. And all the way until November when the reports come out and they go public by Diana Rossini, Mike Silver, and Matt Mayoko that basically the voids are public. And after months of being relatively quiet around the team, this is basically when we have what we've seen currently. The public war basically starts ever since Aiyuk's voided guarantees went public. So the biggest deal for me is I could go over all of the things that he did during his social media rants, but they're just rants. I believe that all of them stem from a frustration of Brandon Aiyuk wanting the 49ers to do some work for him that he needs to start doing for himself.
Correct.
Like reinstating himself into the NFL, right? Like getting himself off the left-off reserve squad list, going to the Santa Clara Police Department to get that misdemeanor traveling with speed with exhibition charge handled. Understanding what a physical means. If you really want to play for the Commanders, then you need to be coming over there, getting ready to have a physical to be able to come on with you guys to help out your financial situation. So that's kind of where we are right now, as far as just the entire saga from the 49ers perspective. But I did want to bring up a couple of things to my DC natives, okay? My DMV guys. Y'all better be forewarned about this. Be careful what you ask for, all right? 2009, Albert Hainsworth signed a 7-year, $100 million deal with the Redskins, all right? And he was supposed to be somebody that already had problems with the Tennessee Titans, but he was going to come over here and finally show us how to be a number one guy. We already saw what that happened with his ass laying out on the turf, all right? What about Donovan McNabb in 2010? Dana Stubblefield in 1998? Deion Sanders in 2000? Brandon Lloyd, which came from the Niners in 2006? Adam Archuleta, all right? Debo, and the biggest one is the current guy that you just picked up and you let him go, and Debo Samuel. So all I'm telling you guys is that I'm not here to tell you that Brandon Aiyuk is used goods and that he's not going to be a great player. But what I am saying is that we understand how the NFL works. And when there's a lot around a certain player, I don't care how naturally good he is, it's just hard for him to be good with the entire room. There's too many personalities for you to be that dynamic. For somebody to say, I don't know, do you think that a Brandon Aiyuk doing what he's doing now, do you think that you guys could handle that with the Commanders in your locker room currently?
So let's go back to a couple of statements. The names you rattled off, some of them are really good ones. Guys that didn't play well here. That was under a previous regime. And I can say that some of those guys actually weren't terrible here. Like Deion wasn't bad here. He just wasn't the Deion Sanders that, you were hoping he would be, but he was past that point of his career. He wasn't terrible here though, right? When you look at Debo last year.
You want to bring up the money? Did he play the
yeah,
was he worth the money?
We've overpaid a lot of guys.
Okay,
that was the Dan
all right.
Snyder era. That's not now. So
okay,
it's a totally different Commanders organization than the one that you're referencing, where we overpaid for every player. We Antoine Randall. I could list a bunch of guys that we overpaid to come and play for the burgundy and gold. When
I remember that year.
So those are different times. Like we don't consider that to be problems that we have now. We have a well-run organization by a guy that you should know very well in Adam Peters. We don't have those problems anymore. He's a very shrewd disciplinarian when it comes to financials, and he takes care of the books in a way that keeps us ahead of the chains, if you will. We keep it cash to cap, right? So we don't have those issues of worrying about if we made a mistake. Debo was a one-year rental. He was a hired gun. And actually, had we stayed healthy last year, Debo didn't play poorly. The problem was we brought Debo in here to be a number 2. And because of Terry McLaurin's health last year, he was forced to be something that we had no intentions of him having to be, which is a number 1. So that didn't go the way that it was supposed to. He actually had a pretty good season. And if Terry was there, he probably could have had an excellent season. But at the end of the day, the underlying theme for us as Commanders fans is Brandon Aiyuk, it makes this team better. And if our general manager, Adam Peters, wouldn't bring him in here if he didn't believe that Brandon Aiyuk could behave himself, right? He wants to play on the same team as Jaden Daniels. That's number 1. So I don't think we'll have any issues with him being disgruntled. Like if he's not getting the football, what is he going to buck off on his best friend for not throwing him the football? Like that's not the attitude that they expect if they bring Brandon Aiyuk into their locker room. Secondly, and furthermore, it's a 1-year deal, right? You don't like what you see from Brandon Aiyuk in this first year because he's not on his best behavior. You don't bring him back again. So there's a lot of different things that you can put in place. And if you're the Commanders, even if he has a stellar year, and I think that video that he did, that YouTube video, it's different than everything else he had put out on IG because he said something that was triggering. If you're a Commanders fan and you want Brandon Aiyuk to play football for your favorite team in 2026, he said something that it leads you to believe that he doesn't get it because he made mention of not wanting to step foot in that building at all in any capacity unless it's October 19th, Monday Night Football, where he feels like he's going to be able to bring belt to ass. If he thinks for 1 second that the 49ers are going to act on his behalf without him doing the due diligence, because I've maintained that the threat of him reporting might be enough to get the 49ers to release him. The threat. But there is a series of events that have to take place first. And you pretty much mentioned them. He's got to get reinstated. He's got to file for reinstatement with the league. All right. He's got to turn himself in to the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office. Right. It's a misdemeanor, bro. Go in, handle your business, get bailed out, and let's move on. Right. And then after that, he's going to have to prove that he's healthy in some way, shape, or form. It's hard for him to be able to do that without stepping foot in the building. But again, if he's able to pass a physical, the 49ers are going to release him at that point. 1, they don't want the distraction. 2, they can't risk him getting injured and then being forced to pay him $26 million or whatever that number is. So he's going to be released if he's ready to show up for work. The problem is he doesn't sound like he intends on showing up in any capacity, and he thinks that these videos and these series of him assaulting verbally the 49ers organization is going to somehow make them feel obligated to release him. I think he feels like it worked the first time because when he did these shenanigans back in 2024, what did he do? He got his way. He ultimately got his deal. He got to stay in San Francisco because, like you said, there were teams that courted him, and there were actually deals, if my memory serves me correct, that were in place, and he didn't want to go, right? So there were opportunities for a trade to actually take place. He didn't want to go to those destinations. He actually wants to go to the Washington Commanders. The problem is there's no trade taking place. No one's giving up draft capital for Brandon Aiyuk. This is going to have to be a situation where you're released and they can then sign you because no one's taking on the contract that he currently has, that he signed to. And while he could renegotiate in Washington, and they could essentially do what they did with Debo, which is give you a fully guaranteed 1-year contract, rip up the rest of the deal. We just saw the Texans do it with Stephon Diggs a year before, where we essentially inherit your deal, rip that up, give you a fully guaranteed 1-year contract. Let's move on. Let's see what you got. And then if we like what we see, we can negotiate thereafter. But no one's giving up anything. And at this point, I see, if I'm the 49ers, all he's doing is making me want to not release him even further, right? If you think calling me a predator, which that's strong language, by the way. You call me a predator? You really
call me a PDF file.
And basically, right? Like, that is one of the...
You see what it did to Drake? Come on, man.
Look, that is one of the worst things you can call another man, right? A human being, but a man in particular, because there's such a negative connotation attached to the word predator. And for him to say that, if I'm John Lynch, if I'm Kyle Shanahan, you think I want to release you? They like, Kyle has already made it abundantly clear that, yes, I'm not trying to help. He could have just inserted the Commanders. I'm not trying to help any other teams by releasing you so you can go wherever you. He could have just said Commanders.
Well, hold on. But Lou, you know, Kyle cannot stand himself some DC.
He can't stand the Commanders. We know that.
He hates. You know why I absolutely love the Commanders? You know why I love the Commanders?
His dad is not let me say this. His dad is not in the Hall of Fame because of what happened to him in Washington. And I bet he believes wholeheartedly that his dad is not in the Hall of Fame, which he belongs in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Man, no, he don't.
Kyle, Mike Shannon doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. Are you kidding me right now?
No.
Oh, yeah. You're tripping. So,
all right. So anyway, let me finish. Go ahead. This is why I love the Commanders as it stands to the Kyle Shanahan, to the whole Shanahan story. Because the Commanders in the DC area is the first area that let the Shanahans know that they are not impressed by them. This is the first time where the Shanahans didn't have media who was kissing their ass. They didn't have a fan base that was kissing their ass. And they were truly results rendered. That's what it was all about. Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan feel as though that even in Kyle's career, there are elements of what happened in Washington, D.C. with the Shanahans that are stains on their careers that they will never get rid of, right? And what had happened for Kyle is that it started more of a spiral, because then we saw the blunder in Cleveland when he quit on Johnny Manziel and gave out a whole dissertation about why he didn't want to coach this kid. And then really, if you look at him going into Atlanta, he struggled his first year at 8-8 with Matt Ryan. They were ready to oust him out of there. They signed petitions in the whole nine. They were trying to figure out why he couldn't get Roddy White involved into the offense. So there's a lot of things that happen with the Shanahans that I feel like they feel that they see started in DC. Started like the Boo Birds, the people that weren't so really up to snuff and weren't so impressed with them, even when they were in Denver, gave their time in DC, that gave them credence to go after them. And there's always going to be a feeling of animus towards Washington, even though I don't understand why they still feel that way. I mean, Dan is gone. I mean, nobody's still in the building anymore, so there's no reason. But
I don't think the animus is there as much as it once was, because Dan and Bruce, you don't forget about Bruce Allen. They couldn't stand those two guys because
Vinny Serrato. God.
It was the whole not worshiping them when they first got there. Oh, it was a love fest. I mean,
yeah.
We felt like, because we had just come out of the Jim Zorn era and it was a disaster, we felt like here was Mike Shanahan coming to save the day. And obviously the first 2 years weren't very good. And he didn't want Donovan McNabb, but they traded for Donovan anyway. And then we got the whole cardiovascular endurance saga where he wasn't able to finish the Detroit game because he wasn't in the cardiovascular, shape. And they put in Rex Grossman because that's who they wanted to play ultimately anyway. That's who Kyle and Mike wanted to play. And then we got the whole John Beck versus Rex Grossman thing.
Rex Grossman era.
It was disgusting.
That was disgusting.
And then they got Robert Griffin III. And
who got jilted out of that entire process, who really deserved a shot, Jason Campbell.
I mean, I watched enough of Jason Campbell to know that he was a
Jason
basic.
Campbell,
He was a
bro,
basic NFL quarterback.
He had 9 different coordinators, bro, throughout like college. Like Jason Campbell was a solid quarterback. That's all I'll say. He was solid.
He was solid, but I mean, he wasn't worthy of the first round pick we spent on him. I'll just say that.
That's true.
Ultimately, the Shanahans had 2012, and that happened by chance. They were already evaluating, if you could recall, Mike Shanahan after we lost in week number 9 to the Carolina Panthers. We're heading into our bye week at 3-6, and he's like, we're evaluating for next year. Yeah. And Robert Griffin III was like, no, the hell we are not. We're going to win the rest of our games, make the playoffs, and that's exactly what the team did. And then the 2023 offseason happened, and it all went to hell in a handbasket. It really started when Robert got hurt against the Ravens.
All in for week 1.
And then the next week, they went to Cleveland, and Kirk Cousins got the start.
Went off.
Robert felt like they ran a totally different offense than the one he was being featured in, where it felt more pro style, and there wasn't as many quarterback runs, and Robert was offended by it. And so when we got to the offseason, him and his dad stormed in. This is the report we got, and I believe it, because you want to talk about some egos at work. The Shanahans
and him.
Shanahans have some egos, and so do Robert Griffin III and his dad. And they came in and they said, hey, we're not running this, and that. And you know, Kyle and Mike are like, who the hell you think you're talking to? Like, we run the show here. But he went above their head to Dan Snyder. And that's when the beginning of the end happened in Washington with them. And you want to talk about a shit show? 2013 was among the worst seasons as a fan because the infighting was just ridiculous. So when I hear Brandon Aiyuk, I say all of that to say this, to bring it full circle. When I hear Brandon Aiyuk talk about Kyle Shanahan's temper, that's factual. Anybody that has seen Kyle Shanahan operate knows he throws temper tantrums. That's a real thing. Okay. Seen it firsthand, right? And I've heard stories. So I know and we see it all the time on the sidelines. Like Kyle's face is flush red. He's losing his shit on the sidelines. Like we see it all the time. So I can imagine some of the things that were probably said to him, but at the end of the day, Brandon Aiyuk seems like one of those people that he doesn't deal with people talking to him a certain way, right? And
I mean, I coach, man. I did, and I know a little bit about player dynamics. It's easy to say that with $48 million in your pocket. I mean, excuse my language, man, but I've been motherfucked. I've been cursed out. I've been checked. I've been put in my place. And I've had coaches put me in my place when they was wrong.
Right.
And they had to come back and tell me I was wrong. And the dynamics of somebody being the intermediary and coming in between you guys, somebody splitting you guys up, somebody smoothing over a conversation, that's team dynamics. That's how teams are ran, bro. Honestly. And when Brandon Aiyuk kind of weaponizes stuff like that, I don't know, man. Like for me, I feel like he's kind of putting his thumb on the scale. It ain't that deep, in my opinion.
I would concur, but I would also say if you are a former coach, then you would know this to be true as well. Not all players are the same. You can't coach all players the same way. It's not a one size fits all. I mean, not if you want to be truly successful. It's hard to yell at this guy here and yell at this guy here, but this one he responds. He's internally motivated. You yell at him, you get more results out of him. This one over here shuts down if you yell at him. And he's just as good, if not better player than this one over here. You got to be able to put your arm around this one, or you better have another coach that can go good cop, bad cop. All right, I'm going to cuss him out. You go over there, you put your arm around him, and you get him to play well, right? Whatever the case may be, and not everybody responds to, like, especially this new generation of athletes.
Yeah, these little YNs.
They don't respond to this type of berating, okay? Right? With all the AAUs and all of when you got to understand, these kids are being told how good they are from middle school, right? Like they're being taken to these events and they're getting all of this swag and they're being courted, and it's a different time than it was when you had to get it out the mud. And I'm not saying that's everybody's experience, but hell, to play sports now, that shit costs, right? Like you're going to play AAU, it ain't free and it ain't
travel
cheap.
ball.
It's travel ball, man. It's all of this shit costs, and they want the best players, right? And so they're actively recruiting these kids at a very young age. And so you're getting all these people telling you how good you are. So when you finally get somewhere and then they're telling you, hey, your shit do stink. You ain't heard that since when? You were 5, right?
But
So-
that's I feel like that's also this is why I'm glad we started the conversation the way we did, Lou, where we kind of went all the way back to the beginning and brought it up. And the reason why I like that is I brought this up early on. The reason why I talked about Brandon Aiyuk playing 1 year of college, playing 1 year of high school football, 2 years of JUCO ball, and only 2 years of college ball is to highlight the fact that he's not necessarily a lifer, right? He's not, he ain't old school. Brandon Aiyuk has not grown up with orange slices at halftime. He don't know nothing about that. He don't know anything about carpooling to practices, like the real stuff. The guys, that's 80% of the NFL. Guys who've been doing this since they've been pups, right? And they've been coached hard. They've been coached under a lot of different circumstances. They've been coached differently. And also, they understand that there's a little bit of a deal between an employer and an employee when we talk about trust, when we talk about $30 million a year, where, hey, bruh, you're not getting coached no more, you're getting consulted, right? And that's in that scenario, I think that the Niners have all the blame in the world for thinking that Brandon Aiyuk could be a player that could be trusted with this amount of money. If they knew how they were going to coach him, if they know what they've dealt with before they signed him, if they understood what it took just to get him over the bow, to get him in the building, signed as a first one, as a draft pick player, first overall, then they shouldn't have paid him. And I think that they're reaping what they're sowing, quite honestly. They deserve this mess, because everything that Brandon Aiyuk is talking about, all of the things that he's doing, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, the Niners saw all of this before he signed on the dotted line. And what they did is they went with Kyle's word, where Kyle came in and swooped in and said, you know what? All of that stuff, push it to the side. We need him. Sign him. All right? And they've been paying for it ever since. And there's also a shift that also happened. And I don't expect you to know this, but the 49ers have a 49ers conglomerate, right? Which consists of a lot of different interests in professional sports teams. And one of them is Leeds United, which is a soccer team. And because of that, the Niners as an organization, as a conglomerate, they have been pouring a lot of their raw money into their new soccer team. And with that, the allocated money that Jed, our owner, has to pay salaries has dwindled significantly. So there's a money man, if you will, inside of the Niners organization by the name of Parag Barate. And Parag, he's come in and he's basically grabbed the purse strings of the entire organization back from Kyle. So there is a little bit of caveat to Kyle Shanahan having 100% final say and word inside of the organization, which is he doesn't control the money anymore. And I believe that the Brandon Aiyuk contract was the straw that broke the camel's back, where the organization has, at the very least, they're letting Kyle still do the draft. The whole football team and organization is yours. Personnel, how you guys set it up. But when it comes to paying these guys now, you're out of the room. All right, because we can't do this anymore. And I really believe that Brandon Aiyuk is kind of like that last shoe to drop, where they've gotten all of those contracts off the books and out of the building that they kind of gritted through their smile, where they just let Trent Williams hold us hostage every time he wants guaranteed money. They let CMC hold us hostage when his guaranteed money comes up 2 years ago and we paid him. They let Nick Bosa hold us over the barrel for his money. And all of that stuff gets smoothed over because Kyle comes in and basically tells the organization, do what they want, give the players what they need. These are my core guys. These are my guys. Pay my guys. And it's worked out in a sense until Brandon Aiyuk, the Debo deal, and you're starting to see those deals where it's like, hey, bro, these dudes ain't worth the money that we're paying for. And I think that Brandon Aiyuk is kind of like that last barometer to show the rest of the team, like, this is it. You pay your way. The gravy train is over. I don't give a damn about a Super Bowl window anymore. All right? We the 1099ers now. All right? Bring your ass in here and file your paperwork because ain't nobody getting paid stupid amount of money. You think that the Niners want to pay Trent Williams that money? No. They are strapped to all of these deals that were constructed in ways where they lost leverage because Kyle gave up the leverage. And they want to get out of all of those deals. So moving forward, I understand that we were pushing for a Super Bowl win because we have our core, our Cabo clique, if you will. But that's what's happening with the Niners now. And I believe that Brandon tried to get into the Cabo clique right when the club got raided. And he's pissed off that it's not there anymore. And it's been a problem ever since.
So basically, and I think a lot of people have done this, you're questioning, does he love ball? Right? I think a lot of people have alluded to the fact that they don't think he loves football. And I don't know if he does or he doesn't. I can't say, but some of his actions may speak to him not loving football. But, you know, sometimes the environment can also necessitate that as well. If you don't love where you work, then obviously you're not happy and then everything suffers, right? Also, I think another piece to this is Kyle finally got one right, it felt like, with Aiyuk. Because if you look at the track record of Kyle Shanahan at receiver in particular, my God, there's been so many swings and misses by Kyle. I mean, you're hoping that Ricky Pearsall isn't another swing and miss here, right? With all the injuries that, you know, obviously he couldn't help getting shot and he can't help getting injured, but that's a part of the game, right? Like,
true.
You pick this guy, and so far you've gotten absolutely nothing out of Ricky Pearsall. And it's a long list of these dudes that Kyle has drafted over the years that have been massive swings and misses. And your hope, and Aiyuk was one of the few that actually hit. And I think
he crossed over.
That was the reason why he went so hard for Brandon Aiyuk, is because I finally got one, right? 1,300 yards, was the best player on the team offensively, not named Christian McCaffrey or George Kittle. And we finally had Kyle calls them dudes. We had a dude at receiver. And now we're going to just let him get out of here? We're going to trade him? You know how hard it was?
I think Kyle plays games, though, because he plays favorites too, Lou. When Debo was here.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. When Debo was here, I think Brandon would even tell you that there was a time where when the rest of the league thought that Debo Samuel was pretty much one of the best receivers in the league, I think everybody here in the 49ers knew that the best receiver on the team was Brandon Aiyuk, though.
Right.
And he wasn't getting that builds resentment. There were a lot of times where he wasn't getting the targets. He wasn't getting highlighted in the offense. He was being used for clear out routes to be able to get Debo open in intermediate routes below. He was a phenomenal blocker, helping out the run game, because you know that we're a run first team. But there is a thread there. I don't want to make Brandon Aiyuk out to be crazy. There is a thread where he was not given the same energy that he was giving out, right? Where he was given a mantra of what the team is and how they move, and he started understanding that things are a little clicked up here. It's a little compartmentalized. Everybody all the rules don't apply to everyone. And I believe that maybe his internal dialogue was not so much as that it's unfair, but, well, I'm good enough to be special. I'm good enough to get on that level. I'm good enough to be able to wear what I want during practice.
I was about to ask you, did that lead to him wearing different color shorts?
I kind of felt like he was pressing. You know how kids try you? You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about like kids. I'm talking about like when your son gets like 13
Right.
14.
You get to an
you
age
get a
where you
little
think,
fuzz
oh,
on his chest.
you know,
Yeah.
you think,
Start
okay,
moving a little while. Start
right.
sucking his teeth, rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
I felt like it was a little bit of that. Like, man, I make $30 million a year, bro. I watched Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Juszczyk warm up on their own. These are things that I've seen with my own eyes, right? You go to Niners training camp, Kyle Juszczyk is out there warming up on his own. Christian McCaffrey kind of mills out, does his own stretches off to the side. Mind you, the entire team is stretching, right? They're getting formed runs in and everything, right? If Trent's practicing that day, he may come out a little later. George comes out with his baseball cap on, jogs around, slaps a couple of hands. Like, so you get a really good gist of who has leeway, who has autonomy on the team versus who's a soldier, right? Who comes in there and just does their job. And I think that Brandon saw himself as one of those players who was afforded to be consulted to, right? You know that when players get into a certain area of their careers, you don't coach Peyton Manning, right? You don't coach Patrick Mahomes. They get to a position where they know so much about the game, you're consulting them. Like, hey, what do you feel here? How do you want to work on this? What are the things that we need to work on your game? I really believe that Brandon thought that he was elevating or at least on his way to that position on the team. And the contract that he received was a big indicator of that. So to kind of smack down a little bit back into your place, I do believe that it grew some resentment. I really do.
So with all that said, you've seen how everything has transpired to this point. You see where we are. 49ers canceled their mandatory mini camp. Kyle said 100% of the team showed up, and to reward them for such a great, Kyle is
He's
being
on the
petty,
left off list. They petty, yo. They petty. Hey, they petty.
Kyle being petty as he want to be. He got his petty pants on, right?
They petty.
He says 100% of the team showed up, and we know who that was angled at.
Right.
We can give them this time off, man, for throwing a great camp. All right, OTA. And give me your best assessment from your perspective after everything that you've talked about, all the information and data you've gathered. How do you see this playing itself out?
I think the Niners are going to sit on Brandon Aiyuk. It's personal.
Yeah.
Before, I believe that the Niners were kind of forcing Brandon Aiyuk to kind of cry himself out, right? Where, all right, man, go ahead, keep doing what you need to do, say what you need to say. But Brandon, you yourself have to go to the NFLPA and fire Ryan Williams. You have to go do that yourself. BA, you have to reinstate yourself. You have to go in, fill out the paperwork, or at least get representation to do that for you. And at some point, I do believe that the Niners were kind of just leaving the gate open for Brandon Aiyuk to walk out the door himself. But we're talking about America now, dog. And you're going at a multi-billion-dollar organization. And I do believe it's personal now. I do believe that the Niners are going to start showing Brandon Aiyuk what it really looks like for them to try to get into the weeds. Like, you think that we're artfully trying to ruin your career? You think that we've taken literally every mechanism that's at our disposal to try to make things rough for you? No, we haven't, but we will now. And that kind of gives me a segue into, are you familiar with the CBA's forfeitable breach rule?
No, I'm not.
So the forfeitable breach rule in the NFL collective bargaining agreement allows teams to void guaranteed money and recover signing, roster, and option bonuses if a player violates specific contract terms. It essentially penalizes players financially for acts that severely damage the team's ability to compete. There's four categories of qualifying scenarios for the forfeitable breach rule in the CBA. One of them is voluntary retirement. Another one is non-football injury. Another one is incarceration. The player becomes unavailable due to the team's conduct results. And the last one is willful failure to report and play. The player intentionally holds out or leaves the squad without proving extreme personal hardship, substantially undermining their ability to contribute to the team. Now, this is one thing that I know the Niners are going to start doing, because there was a recent report that just came out that the Niners from Matt Mayoko, that the 49ers are certainly going after between $13.8 million and $18.4 million that they've already paid Brandon Aiyuk using the CBA's forfeitable breach rule, which is willful failure to report in practice. The $8.4 million in signing bonus prorations plus the $18.3 million left on the 2025 option bonuses are on the books. So the easiest method is to offset his future earnings, meaning if he plays again, that the checks that he makes could flow right back to San Francisco because he owes them money. So it may not even make the financial sense for him to play if the Niners go after this and they exercise this rule. So really, the Niners, we're kind of looking at this from like a 2D perspective, where like, dude, if you just do X, you can get Y, and then Z happens. Now it's a little bit sticky. You're going after names. You're saying that people are predators. You have, and another thing that really is hurting him is he's very gregarious about playing for the Commanders, which you don't got to say that out loud all the time, bro, because we can sit here and that's easily a tampering claim, right? Because, I don't get what his aim is, and I just want to see his reaction when somebody swings back. Everybody's got a plan. And you know what I'm saying? I did security for 15 years in DC, and everybody want to fight when you swing, but are you ready to get hit back?
Yeah.
Are you
Mike
ready?
Tyson once said, everybody's got a plan until they get hit, punched in the mouth.
Yeah. So that's my thing, is that I don't think the Niners have necessarily been fighting as much as people want to make BA out to be a victim. But when the Niners start swinging back, you'll know.
Yeah, I think I was confident in his release up until probably about a week and a half. And then Sunday's YouTube video or Saturday's YouTube video, I think, was me realizing, oh, he doesn't get it. Because I've been saying all along, I don't know who he has in his corner. I don't know if he has any representation or any management, anybody advising him, which it didn't feel like, but he could have and just been not listening. But I was like, I hope someone is in his ear, because he has to understand that the 49ers don't have to do anything.
They don't.
They don't have to do anything. And if he's talking, and the thing that scared me about his, tirade on Saturday on YouTube is that he said, I'm never setting foot in that building again. And he doesn't get it. If that's your mindset, if that's your mentality, that I'm never going back there ever again, I can't stand those people. And I'll wait out this process as long as it takes to get to you. And he's got a commander football in his hand to get to you. Right? You're not getting to them if you don't show up. How are you going to get there, right?
How? I don't get it.
That's the part that I'm like, I don't know if he gets it. I don't know if he understands how all of this works.
You need to get Mama 5 over there to help him out, man.
And obviously she's a licensed agent, and I'm like, can she get to him? Because clearly they have a relationship. If you watched his channel, you saw when he went to the NFC Championship game, she was in the suite with them, etc. Like, he has a relationship with her. Obviously, if he's, best of friends with Jaden. So can she get in his ear and say, hey, Brandon, look, this is what you got to do, man. If you truly want out of San Francisco, here are the steps you have to take. And run a checklist by him. And, he has to one by one start checking off those boxes. Like, having a video that you post where you go, do I really have a warrant out for my arrest?
Come on, bro.
And then be like,
how janky is that, Lou? How janky is that?
And then go, hey, if I got a warrant, they're gonna have to come and get me, because I ain't going back, right? And he's shown every video posted here of late to let everybody know I'm in Virginia now, bro. I'm in Virginia, and I have no intentions of going back to Cali. He's not going back to Cali, unless he's a member of the Commanders. So it's crazy, bro.
It's crazy to me. And then another thing too, man, is that, like, bruh, we know that these guys are most of these guys, they're men. But the thing that's unique about pro sports is that some of these dudes are still young. They're still kids, man. And how he's talking, Brandon Aiyuk is from Rockland, California, bro. like, you're from over on this side. Rockland, California is the equivalent, as far as DMV is concerned, is the equivalent to like Bowie, Maryland, like Clarksburg, Maryland, Olney, Maryland. Like, he's from the sticks, bro. Like, I don't get where all of this talking to your GM, talking about some, don't come over here, it ain't safe.
Yeah.
Who are you? What are you talking about? This is when I coached ball, and like I be looking at the kids who want to be I'm like, nigga, you are in college, sir. How are you walking around here thugging out the cafeteria? Like, I don't get the energy, Lou. It's misguided, and I think he's angry, right? And I want him to reinstate, stop posting, and find a path to get to you guys, because I do love watching good ball, right? And if a player fits with a certain roster, man, let him play there. Let him go. It is what it is. My only thing is that what Brandon Aiyuk is doing, and we understand how the NFL moves, he's trying to set precedent. And that is why I believe that he may not make it to you guys, because if he gets what he wants, then there's somebody who's a receiver now that is watching this and is saying, oh shit. So you
Brandon
really
did
can, you really can twist the arm of an NFL organization to get them to bend the knee. Public perception really can make an NFL organization do something that they will not do. And I believe that if we can understand that from our 2 YouTube channels, then millionaires who are paid to do this specific job, they can understand that as well. So I don't believe that the Niners, and to be honest, what Brandon Aiyuk is doing, and he's raising so much awareness that his situation, in my opinion, is permeating past the 49ers, and it's starting to stain the shield. And the NFL don't play no games when it comes to tarnishing the shield. So
I don't know.
I don't know.
Schefter brought it up. I think Schefter did that. I think Mike Florio kind of made it seem like, it's starting to stain the shit. I don't feel like it's gotten to that point yet. Like, it feels like it's still localized. I think I do know that it's becoming tiresome, and it's gotten to a level of fatigue with all parties involved. Like 49ers fans are over it. Commanders fans are even over it at this point. Like, can we just get some resolution to this situation? But I don't think it starts to become a stain until training camp, right? If this continues, if it persists, because there's nothing going on right now. So it's loud because there's no noise, right? Everything's quiet on the NFL front. When you start taking attention away from actual NFL events like training camp getting underway, if this starts, that's when they get pissed off, right? Because you've heard the old adage, any publicity is good publicity, right? Like the NFL will take this. This is their 1 month from about roughly June 18th to July 18th is the 1 month that they don't have anything going on, that NFL headquarters is shut down. They got nothing going on. So anything that's keeping the other NFL relevant right now, they'll take it, right? When they get these teams back in camp, and now it's a distraction and you're taking away from that, now it becomes a real problem. And I think that Brandon Aiyuk has to understand what has to take place in order for him to get on the field. And if he doesn't, then all of this is a moot point, because he's not going to be playing football in 2026.
All right, so let's play what if. Let's say it all goes down. Brandon Aiyuk gets his release and he goes to the Commanders. What are the Commanders signing him for?
It'll be a 1-year deal. I think it'll be somewhere in the $15 million range. Probably like, I'd say $12 to $15 million. And with incentives, it could get up to, so let's say if the deal is 12, with incentives, it could get up to as high as like 17. If it's 15, it can get up to as high as 20. I think it'll be something.
Do you have incentives in the deal?
Oh, of course. Of course. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna want to see, you want to motivate him to be at his best.
Okay.
And you're gonna want to motivate him to do the things that you need him to do. The beauty of him coming here is we wouldn't be asking him the same thing that we did with Debo. We wouldn't be asking him to be the number. We already have a number 1 wide receiver. So we wouldn't be asking him to come in here and be our savior. We would be asking him to come in here and be the number 2 receiver, but the number 3 target in the offense, because we have a number 1 target in Terry McLaurin. And our number 2 target this year is going to be Chig Okonkwo, our tight end that we just signed in free agency.
I watch your videos. I know y'all got a little tight end room going on over there. I heard about your tight end group.
So
I heard about what y'all got going on.
It's going to be really interesting to see if they can get him to Washington, because he would be a great fit for this offense for what they're going to do as that third option and that Z wide receiver. But ultimately, we have to prepare and conduct ourselves as if he's not going to be a part of the team, because right now it doesn't feel like he is. And I think they're comfortable with their group as is. I know us as fans are not, which is why we've been so heavy on trying to get Aiyuk to Washington, because we were so decimated by injuries last year. And even though they've done a better job of acquiring depth at the position, the frontline talent isn't what you would like it to be. And so you're one injury away again, like last year, from being, a really desperate group. And to avoid that, you want a guy the caliber of a Brandon Aiyuk. And another option that's out there that a lot of fans have been interested in is Stephon Diggs. But the team, I think they're more comfortable with Brandon Aiyuk and who he is, just based off of what Adam Peters knows about him. And then the whole Jaden Daniels factor, I think, comes into play a bit. But I think it's more about the comfort level of Adam Peters. He spoke this, and he didn't have to say this. He could have easily taken the path of least resistance when he was asked at the combine about Brandon Aiyuk. He could have just said, hey, he plays for another team. I'm not able to speak on another player from another team. But he said, Brandon Aiyuk, I can vouch for his character. I know Brandon Aiyuk. I know who he is as a person. That spoke volumes. He hasn't said a word, and he can't. Obviously, tampering issues are in effect. He can't say anything. And the team hasn't said anything because, the prevailing thought is if Aiyuk gets released, he's making a beeline for Washington. They're going to sign him immediately. We don't know that to be true, right? We don't know that to be 100% true. If he gets released, he is absolutely a commander. But it feels that way. It feels that way. If he gets released, he's going to be a commander. And so I truly believe that if he gets to free agency, right, if he gets released, they're going to put together a contract that is, one, fair for him, but also fair for the team. That's always been Adam Peters' mindset when putting together a contract. And he's rubbed some people the wrong way, right, because of his ability to be very stout and resolute in what he believes. But ultimately, I think it would be a deal that would provide him with a little bit of 1 year security, but also dangle a carrot in front of his face. Like, hey, if you hit X amount of catches, X amount of yards, X amount of touchdowns, X amount of games played, here's an extra fill in the blank for each one of those milestones. So,
okay,
I can see that.
For me, almost nothing guaranteed. If Aiyuk lands in Washington, the smart defensible number is a 1 year deal for me, a 1 year prove-it veteran minimum range, $1.3 million. And for my estimation, probably like 1.5. I wouldn't give him $15 million to $12 million. With the real money that I'd give him, with the 1.5, I put real money buried in incentives, make him earn it. I wouldn't give him a dime of wide receiver 2 money that the fan base that you guys are dreaming about. That's not being harsh. That's just literally how it bears out for a guy that hasn't played 2 years. Earlier reporting pegged him at a 1 year veteran deal, even if he passed the physical outside of us, even if he didn't come to you guys, if he went somewhere else. And there's just a couple of things that I see why he gets the minimum money. He's basically a free agent, right? This isn't a trade. This is a player that hasn't played in 2 years off of an injury that we can just trust that he says that he's good. He's coming off already the warrant. We got to figure out exactly how that bears out. We also have the clawback wrinkle that clears anything about the guarantees that the 49ers can recoup their money by offsetting his future earnings. So whatever Washington pays him, the chunk could flow right back to San Francisco and guaranteeing him a tax headache, right? Because they can still go after that forfeitable closer exemption. So for me, I just see a low minimum base or a small to zero signing bonus and a heavily incentive-laden deal, like maybe a per-game roster bonus, receiving yards or reception incentives, maybe if he makes the Pro Bowl or something like that. But I pay him like a star only if he produces like one. If he balls out, it could climb back maybe to $6.8 million per year because you're starting him low at 1.5. I'm trying to help you guys out. What you guys are doing right now is that if you guys sign Brandon Aiyuk at $12 million to $15 million, what you're basically saying is that if you prove that you're back, you're right back into your tax bracket of making almost 25 plus to $30 million a year. Yeah. You don't want that. You don't want that.
This is the thing. Like, if he performs well, there's no guarantees back in Washington. It's not like Brandon Aiyuk is young either. So he's 28 years old. We already have Terry McLaurin, who's north of 30. So I don't think they love the idea of signing another older.
And you know what y'all did to Terry to pay him. Y'all did him so dirty. The rest of the league was looking at y'all crazy.
They did.
Why did it take y'all so long to pay him, man?
Because that's Adam Peters. Adam Peters, and he admitted
that was foul.
He admitted I screwed that up. He's like, and you see, he learned his lesson. He got the Laramie Tunsil extension done the first day of free agency this year. So look, this is his first time as a general manager. It's not like he's done this before. So
because we're all kind of looking like, why are you doing Terry like that? He's a model dude.
Exactly. It shouldn't have come to that. Like, he's a core guy. He earned the money. That shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have gone down that way. He shouldn't have had to do what he did to get paid. But
I didn't know he admitted that though. That's good.
You know, he admitted he messed up and he made a wrong. Like, again, there's only so much you can do to right that situation. But he said, "Trust me, I learned my lesson," and he proved it with the Laramie Tunsil extension this offseason. So, to your point about Brandon Aiyuk, I will say this: another player pretty much showed his hand. Like, the worst thing you can do is show a poker player like Adam Peters your hand, because now you've given him all the leverage. Brandon Aiyuk is basically,
him, bro.
You talking about Adam Peters?
Yeah, I know y'all. He has got to be the savior of all saviors for you guys.
He is the
like
best.
You guys went through Bruce Allen, Vinny Serrato. Like, you guys have been through some dogs.
Scott McCloughan. Y'all know him too.
Hey, Scott was our guy.
That's what I'm saying. Y'all know him.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Putting a little bit in the Gatorade. Old Scott, pulling it up, Scott.
Shout out to Scott.
Pull it up, Scott.
Shout out to Scotty Mac. Man.
Shouts out to Scott. Turn up a drink for Scott.
Just don't do it at work. Hey. So we've gone through the full gamut of general managers, and we finally got us one. And what he had to hold on to him. Oh no, he's going nowhere. What he's shown us is that if you show your hand and you show that I don't want to play for anyone else but your team, you finna get lowballed. Like, Rachaad White basically on social media, while he was, he was still a Buccaneer technically, but he had already changed his profile pic to him and Jaden. He had already been liking people's posts about him joining the Commanders. This man signed a 1-year deal up to $3 million. Okay. Like, which is crazy because he claimed he had other offers out there that he could have pursued. Rachaad White, you say what you want about him. He's worth more than 1 year. You know, you're worth what you allow someone to pay you, obviously.
That's a savvy move.
It's beyond savvy. It's taking advantage of a situation, and that's what Brandon Aiyuk has essentially pigeonholed himself. The other 31
you guys are going to I'm sorry for cutting you off, Lou.
No, you good.
But you guys are going to, I mean, the only reason why I pushed back on your 12 million and 15 million scenario is that for me, that's not really winning the game if you're the Commanders. Like, getting Brandon Aiyuk is cool, right? One thing that you have to realize is that all of that, we have a number one receiver mess, you better get that out of your system. Brandon Aiyuk thinks he's a number one receiver, and that is not negotiable.
That's cool, but he's not going to come here and be the number one receiver.
I'm just saying, he's yours now. He's yours now.
If he gets here and he thinks he's going to be the number one wide receiver, he's got another thing coming. And
he's got another thing coming then, and you're going to have to let him know what it is, because I'm going to love watching this. I'm watching all your shows, because you're going to be like, what the hell is wrong with him? He's going to come in there thinking he's the number one receiver. I'm telling you.
That's what I want him to do. I don't want him to come in here thinking, I'm the number 2 receiver. Don't throw me the football. I want him to come in here and want to be the number 1 receiver, because if we have to target him as such, I want him to be ready for that role. I want him in that mindset. I don't want, unless you have a Justin Jefferson, unless you're because Debo was never a number 1 receiver. I never envisioned Debo, even when he was at the peak of his superpowers in San Francisco. Debo, go look at his numbers. Debo was never an elite receiver. He was an elite football player. Offensive weapon is what he was, right? Debo is not an elite receiver. Brandon Aiyuk has shown the ability. 1,300 yards that's a lot of yards in this league. All right, especially who was throwing him the football? Was that Brock Purdy? That was Brock, right? That was Brock. Or was that Jimmy?
Say that again.
Was that Brock or Jimmy in 2023? That was Brock, right?
Brock.
Right.
It's Brock.
So again, not to shit on Brock Purdy, but that's Brock Purdy, right? And that was young Brock, right? So to get 1,300 yards, that's a hell of a feat. And Terry McLaurin's never done that, just for background purposes, right? Just to give you a working reference point. Terry's never done that. He's never crossed the 1,200 yard threshold, let alone 1,300 in a single season. So
I think Brandon Aiyuk knows that.
Yeah, and that's cool. He'll come in here, but this is the thing. The X factor here is we got Jaden, right? So if he want to buck off, who he gonna buck off at? The one person that we know he ain't bucking off on is the quarterback here.
Well, this is all Jaden's show. When you guys got rid of Cliff Kingsbury, and he moved on, you guys kind of shut down, and in my opinion, you guys kind of shut down the candidacy for your OC job, because you went in-house. And I think a lot of that had to do with Jaden, who wanted your OC that you guys have now. So if correct me if I'm wrong, educate me. I'm here to be educated.
No. If you believe everything that we saw prior to anything even being done, Jaden never wanted Cliff fired in the first place. His mom tweeted out right after the season was done, literally the day after, Jaden can't wait for year 3 of him and Cliff, right? So we were all under the assumption that Cliff was going to be back based off of that tweet. So Jaden had no idea that they were firing Cliff. Now they told him in advance of what they were going to do, right? He didn't find out via social media or someone hit him up like, hey, they got rid of Cliff. He knew, all right? They contacted him first before that information left the building, but they didn't consult with him. Now, the reason they didn't open up the candidacy, the candidacy to outside candidates is because the Detroit Lions, our new offensive coordinator, David Blau, he's got rock star written all over him. And the Detroit Lions basically said, if you let him come interview for us, you're not getting him back. If he leaves your building, comes to Detroit for this interview, we're giving him the job on the spot. You're not getting him back. So they couldn't let him leave. So what they effectively did was they interviewed a couple of candidates in-house, but they knew who the guy was going to be, and they went ahead and gave him the job because they had been grooming him during the season to be the next offensive play caller. They already had been giving him responsibilities that you don't give the assistant quarterbacks coach if you're not planning on him having a future within your organization. So
they were out on Cliff during the year?
I think they were because I think they started to see the writing on the wall with Cliff probably midway through this past season, where they felt like it was his play calling, his reluctance to shift away from some of the things that he believes in philosophically. And they felt like in order for the change, because Cliff made it be known, my offense that I run, it works. This shotgun, this spreading you out, this tempo, it works, right? They want it under
I
center.
mean, it works half the time.
It worked in 2024, right?
Y'all got to get a run game. That was his problem. Cliff Kingsbury ain't respect the run, bro.
He doesn't. He doesn't.
Come on, bro.
He does
that diet offense bullshit that he running, man. Y'all got to get physical, bro. Come on, man. This supposed to be the Hogs, bro. And like y'all know who y'all are. That Cliff Kingsbury stuff, that was a little too vogue. It was a little too like with a guy like Jaden Daniels. You need a strong running game behind a quarterback like Jaden Daniels so you could dictate offense. You could dictate offense to different teams. And I sometimes I believe going shotgun, and with light boxes practically in 80% of your offense, that really doesn't protect your golden asset, which is JD5. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's, I don't know, like, how do you feel Cliff Kingsbury did at calling offense as it pertains to protecting Jaden Daniels? Because in my opinion, you guys went to the NFC Championship game Jaden's rookie year, correct?
Correct.
And he was your leading rusher. You know what I mean? Like, that right there, as an offensive coordinator, that's on him. Right now, Jaden's only doing the best he can. So the numbers are the numbers. But, Jaden Daniels, I believe that the writing began on the wall with Cliff Kingsbury is that I just don't think his offense protects Jaden.
Neither did they. That's why they moved on from him. That's why they came up with that in probably midway through last season, is they felt like part of the reason that Jaden was getting injured is he wasn't being protected by a run game. They felt like the offense was too arduous. It was too tedious. It was too, everything that we got offensively felt too hard. Every possession was 13 plays, 72 yards, 6 minutes.
Just painstaking.
And you had to go for it on fourth down once or twice. It felt like every other possession to extend the drive. And you can't live like that. You can't consistently live like that. We got away with it in 24. You didn't get away with it in 25. And they saw the writing on the wall and they asked Cliff to change his philosophy. And Cliff basically said, no, this is who I am at my core. This is what I am. This is who I've always been. This is what I believe in. And it works. And they knew they had to make a shift. And so they already knew what they were going to do. Then there was a report that Adam Peters wasn't happy with some of the playing time for some of the young guys that he had drafted, because nothing makes you look worse as a general manager than the guys that you've drafted not being able to get on the field. And it's one thing if there's real talent in front of them, keeping them off the field. But when you suck and your veterans are injured and there's no reason for guys to be kept off the field and you're still not playing them, now there's an issue. So there was a lot at work there, but ultimately they want to be able to run the football. They want to be able to, and the big thing is they want to create big plays, chunk plays. And the best way to do that is to run the football and set up real play action fake. Not that token play action fake where, linebackers don't have to respect a fake hand. They can't even see what's going on, right? Like when you're in gun, they can see if it's a fake or not. They don't have to guess. Their back, the quarterback's back isn't turned, right? They can see the football. They know if it's a fake or not. When you're under center, there is a brief period there where you have no idea where the football is. And when you turn your back for that play action fake, if you're key and run and you take 2 false steps, you're done, right? Especially if it's, Kyle, you watch Kyle's offense. You know that little drift route right there, that 12-yard dig or so right behind those backers, bro. Like
the play action over route. We all
that little drift is there 1,000% because of, your ability to run the football. And then you stick it in that running back's belly, you pull it out and boom. Those linebackers take 1 or 2 false steps towards the line of scrimmage, and that guy is coming right there on that little over, that deep over, you know what I'm saying, that little dig, and you just throw it to him, and then he's running. If it's on time and the rhythm of that route, in stride, that guy's running after the catch. And we just don't have those type of plays in Washington because everything was so monotonous. It was so painstakingly obvious that, you know, we weren't going to run the football. Like, we came out in the NFC Championship game and the first 12 plays were passes. Yeah. We struggled against the Eagles during the season to run the ball, but you can't just give up on the run. You can't do that.
Run. Yeah.
So they already knew going into the offseason they were going to change coordinators. And it just so happened that the guy that they knew was probably the best option was already in the building, and he just so happened to have a great relationship with Jaden, and that absolutely factored into it as well.
Awesome.
All right, before we come back and get to the comment section, let's get a quick word from our sponsor, Prize Picks. We'll come back on the other side, and then we will dive into the comment section. It's that time, people. The World Cup is upon us, and Prize Picks has you covered. Link is in the description of this video, where you can download the Prize Picks app, which is available in states like California, Florida, and Texas, to allow you to explore all the options that Prize Picks has available for you to game with the World Cup. All these opportunities you see in front of you, from shots on target to tackles and goals, are available for you to create a lineup that can allow you to take full advantage of the World Cup. Lots of opportunities over the next month and a half as the World Cup takes over center stage. Be a part of the action and play now on Prize Picks. Use the promo code HMA to get you an opportunity to play $5 and get $50 instantly in lineup bonuses when you use the promo code HMA. LouieTeeNetwork on Prize Picks is where you can find me. Enjoy the World Cup and do it with Prize Picks. All right. Big shout out to Prize Picks for sponsoring this stream. If you haven't already done so, as mentioned in the video, click the link, take you to where you can download the app, use the promo code HMA, and get you $5. Play $5 and get $50 instantly in lineup bonuses when you use the promo code HMA. Let's get to the comment section. All right. And I'll let you read all the ones that come from your camp. All right. They in here, bud. They in here. They in here. All right. So let's get to it. And we start with this first one. That's one of yours. Hold on a second. I can't. Can you hear me? Are you muted?
Well, I'm here right now.
Oh, there you go.
Muted. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah, I love my people. We can go. This one's mine. Man, get your ass up $2. Thank you. Go Commanders. We got some of your people filtering on my side.
Hey, go Commanders. Yeah. Hey, BA was wilding, man. He been wilding.
Go Commanders.
Go Commanders. Raise hell. Take command.
Yeah, and you can tell, like, it really sticks out because he's not from over here. Yeah. So it's real. Raise hell.
Hey, I love it, man. I love it. Shout out to Aiyuk, man. This one on you, too.
Smack Jones, member for 3 months. Thanks, brother. Don't forget about those the shorts issue. Wrong color. Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
yep,
we talked about that. We definitely talked about that. This one is on you as well.
Too much sauce. That's my dog. Do you think Aiyuk is genuinely scared of John Lynch putting his hands on him, pulling up on him like that on some gangster? No, we don't. That's why it was so weird that he brought it up that way. Like, in a way to say that, like John Lynch was caught in the bushes looking through, like, like, come on, son.
Like, I gotta warn my wife that this white man is at my house.
This white man is over here. Like, come on, son. He was doing too much, and we gotta play it. We gotta play it fair. If the race card situation was on the other foot and there was a white player talking like that, Lou, you know we'd be all over it. Like, what, man? I'm over here. Imagine Nick Bosa like, yeah, I'm over here, and I look at my phone and like there's this big black man. He's just walking up in the driveway. This black guy, you know, he looked aggressive. He's kind of big. Like, everybody would be on him. Like, are you crazy?
And especially after he had the whole Trump hat situation
Come on, son.
Yeah, that
Thank
would have
you.
amplified it 10 million, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There was a lot fundamentally wrong with that.
Yes.
What he said on that YouTube video. I was like, come
you
on,
can't
Brandon.
do that.
Yeah, you tripping,
Yeah,
bro.
you can't do that, bro.
You tripping. Full Command Show. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Full Command Show writes, there's a lot of talking out of both sides of your mouth from both parties. Aiyuk had the burden of proof, but revealed it immaturely. Both wear blame.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he's been, and I said this, people think he's crazy. He's not crazy. He's very immature, however. But I think it's a stretch to call him crazy. I think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think he's looking for an intended outcome that isn't going to come. But because he's done this type of behavior before and gotten said outcome, he thinks he can do it again. And this is a much different circumstance than the last time when he was looking to get a new contract.
Get a deal. I love the way you put that, Lou, where he's going back to an old playbook that he thought worked, and it's not coming out that way.
Yep.
I agree.
This one's on you.
Steve Lewis, J19. I don't know about y'all, but I don't want nobody pulling up on me unannounced. How is he supposed to react when another man pulls up on his family like that? I think it was a wellness check. I really do. If you look at just the actual steps entailed of what it takes for Brandon Aiyuk to grant his release from the 49ers, he has to show up. He has to be there. So what would you have the 49ers do? Exactly. If he's fired his agent, which he said, he already lamented about his agent reaching out to his wife. The reason why the agent is reaching out to his wife is because he can't get a hold of Brandon. So if John Lynch goes up to Brandon's house to check on him, I think that it was just it was dirty pool for him to shape it that way. When Ricky Pearsall got shot, the first person at the hospital was John Lynch, right? When we need help on certain areas that happen outside of the field, it's routinely reported that John Lynch is the first person to step out and give a human touch and a helping hand. When Dre Greenlaw needed to be re-signed and the Niners had blown that deal up, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan both got on a plane and flew down to see Dre Greenlaw. So, it happens, and I feel like in a lot of different instances, it was kind of applauded, and it was shown as like, this is what the Niners will do to get anything done. And I just feel like Brandon kind of took that and bastardized it a little bit, and I think that really ruffled some feathers for the organization.
I couldn't agree more. This one's on you as well.
Eaton Moon, Niner and huge coach fan here. Thank you. 30 mil cut from BA for missing rehab. People can miss all of training camp with less penalty. That was 1,000% dirty by the team. It all stems from that. The rest is noise. BA will be good. I hope he is good. The biggest frustration that we've had with BA is that we don't want to see a young player ruin his career. We've been football fans all our lives. This is unprecedented. We ain't never seen this before. All of this.
That's right.
Get away with it. And just week one, he's on the team he wants to be on. So we're all kind of sitting back waiting to see how this is going to roll out.
And you made a great point earlier, Coach, when you said that the league frowns upon players setting precedents, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to reward Brandon Aiyuk for this type of behavior because it could lead to more players feeling like they can achieve the same thing by going about it the same route that Aiyuk has gone about it. Not that a lot of guys are going to be willing to turn down an opportunity
to do all this.
Right.
Yeah.
Like it ain't going to be too many players in the league that's like, yo, I'm willing to give back $30 million.
Yeah, I don't care about $30 million.
Yeah,
exactly.
You're not going to get a lot of dudes doing that. Trust me. Right. He's one of the few that would do something.
He's one of one.
Yeah.
But Lou, what's the first thing you do when you get paid? You don't. Come on, you got to be pops, baby. Shh. Don't tell nobody. Come on, man. And it's just, I don't know, man. Like when you get paid, you got to shut up, dude. Like I don't understand it, man. He just hurting himself.
Yeah. 101 Dumars. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. 101 Dumars writes, the 49ers can suspend him now for bashing the team. I thought they would have taken this route already, but they didn't have to. He was already on a list, so they didn't have to do anything.
They didn't have to do it.
They could essentially put him on a conduct detrimental to the team list, because he's literally back now. I can see one thing that he hasn't done, and I don't know if someone advised him if he's going to go this route to do it this way. He hasn't said any names. He's now he is talking about but he keeps saying, he refers to them as that other team, right? He doesn't say any names. He hasn't mentioned John Lynch's name, Kyle Shanahan's name. But we know who he's talking about. Everyone knows who he's
Hold on. What you talking about, Lou? Like, you talking about Brandon hasn't said any names?
Yeah, he has mentioned some names, but like when he's talking about John Lynch, he generally says that GM for the other team, right? So like if you go to that YouTube video, he talked about that other GM for the other team. And when he talks about Kyle Shanahan, he usually says that the coach of that other team. Now, he's mentioned names before, but generally when he speaks, he tries to make sure that he doesn't actually say anyone's name, right? He hasn't said the agent's name. I just think that it's a
bit facetious to act as if we don't know who he's talking
about.
Right,
no. And he knows, and that's why he feels like, I haven't said anything, right? Like,
you have
said anybody's name. I haven't said anybody's name.
Yeah.
And so, but we know who he's talking about. This is absolutely conduct detrimental to the team, for sure.
Yeah, I think and this is one thing that I think Brandon doesn't understand, is that language is a very interesting thing. Knowing how to speak and have term of phrase, and calling people out, like, and using innuendo and thinking that, that's a loophole that I found, where no. They actually have people that have done that before. It's called semblance of impropriety. So like, just the symbolism of impropriety, just you being near something that is frowned upon, is enough for those things to be triggered in your contract. So I don't think that he understands that, like, kind of like playing with the line. There's almost a defense specifically for that type of team, for that type of conduct that's detrimental to the team. So I don't know. I want to see what the Niners are going to do. If I'll put it like this, if BA ends up on the Commanders, kind of like, hey, it happened, he got released, I would think a lot of the 49ers. I would applaud the 49ers for not exercising a lot of things that they could have to really draw this out.
You know damn well that ain't happening.
That ain't happening.
That ain't happening. You know damn well.
They bringing the funk. They bringing the funk. The Niners is coming, dog. They coming, dog.
Damn well, they are not gonna just say, they're
gonna be like, now it's my turn.
Yeah, hell yeah. That is not how it's going now. He says this isn't talked enough. They can sabotage his career totally. I don't blame them now. He put himself in this position, and I think he made it 10 times worse by making it abundantly clear that I want to play for the Commanders. That made it even worse. Like,
that made it bad.
I don't really know what he was really trying to achieve by doing that, making it blatantly obvious that he doesn't want to play for any of the other 30 teams in the league. He just wants to play for the Commanders. Okay, we get that, but you didn't have to go as far as he's gone. We've ate it up as Commanders fans because no player.
You guys have got to be loving this.
So we love the fact that he wants to play, because we for so long have had to overpay. Like you've mentioned all those guys in previous iterations. We had to overpay, overspend, overpromise players things. To get Landon Collins here, we had to give him a signed, framed, game-worn Sean Taylor jersey, right? Like
so
dumb shit like that, because nobody wanted to play here for so long. So to be wanted feels great, but at the same time, like, it doesn't matter if the guy wants to play here if he's not going to be able to play here. And if he doesn't do the things that are necessary, he can want to play here all he wants. He's not going to.
He may not even be healthy for your culture that you guys are trying to build.
I don't think they feel like he's going to. Again, I have 1000% trust in Adam Peters and his judgment.
Okay.
If he tells me that this guy is going to be just fine in this locker room with the culture that we have, ingrained in those walls, then I trust that he knows Aiyuk on a deep enough level that he's going to come in here and he's going to fall in line. If he felt like Aiyuk was going to be a detriment to what they've built, I don't think that's why I don't think they've been interested in Stephon Diggs, they could have signed Diggs already.
That's
right?
true.
But
That could have been done.
They feel like he has too many distractions from all accounts, from everyone we've heard from that are ex-teammates. He's a great teammate. But the problem is he comes with baggage. One,
Cardi B will be on the sidelines.
There you go. I don't need to say anything else. You know that it comes
and
with.
I'm gonna be real with you, with the type of access that he has. You know, we're from here, and so is Stephon Diggs is from here.
Yep.
He don't need to play home.
He doesn't. He's exactly like Chase Young. He does not need to play at home.
Dwayne Haskins, the whole nine. They don't need to play at home.
I agree. God rest his soul. This one's on you.
God rest his soul. All right, Frisco, my guy, Frisco Shields. BA is setting up a grievance alleging misrepresentation by the Niners and NFLPA reps, potentially extending a 50-day filing deadline. The plays is leveraging getting the guarantees back versus a release. Yeah. So the play is leveraging getting the guarantees back versus a release. So yeah, that's really what's happening right now. BA is lawyering up in a sense. He wants to file a grievance with the NFLPA because he says that he was misrepresented. There was misrepresentation involved with his deal. I do feel like there's an element of BA looking at his agent and the Niners saying like, "How did y'all get together and get?" And
he thinks it's collusion.
Got voided. Yeah,
he thinks it's collusion that between the agent and
actively helped the 49ers void his guarantees. And I think that's the quiet part that's not really being put out there, because you just can't say that. You better have your ducks in a row.
Right. You got to
make an allegation like that.
Because this man's profession we're talking about here.
Yeah.
This is his career.
When you make an allegation like that, you're implicating John Lynch, who is a Hall of Famer. You're implicating his agent and his representation. You're implicating the 49ers as an organization as well. So I don't know. This may be something where BA may start filing. The Niners may put in their forbiddable breach clause, and BA could just be caught up in red tape for like the next year or so. Just like, and it could be like, hey, well, we'll give you what you want, but you'll get caught up in red tape. You'll get caught up in the process before you play another down. You'll be 30 before you play a game. Yeah. So let's see if the Commanders want you in 2030.
Right. I mean, and for me, and I've said this to the fan base, this is a 2026 thing, right? He doesn't play for the Commanders in 2026. I'm off loose. Yeah, I'm off. Yep. Right? Yeah. This is a 2026 ordeal only. If he's not here by the start of this season, then we on to bigger and better things. We can't mess around with Brandon Aiyuk again next year. So
the Niners got enough money. If this really is all about like litigation and NFLPA versus NFL, BA's done.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because it's just like the common man versus a big organization, a big corporation. Yeah. They could tie you up in litigation because they can pay for it. They can afford.
We got the bread.
3-4 years. You can't retain representation for that long and keep paying for.
Let's see how that $48 million in that lifestyle lives up when you ain't making no money for a couple of more years.
Yeah. We'll see how big the what is it? The big brand? What is it? The baller brand? What is it called?
I don't know. The branded Aiyuk.
I just want to see him
like in 2 years after all of this is happening. I want to see him take another backpack and throw $250,000 on the floor. That's what I want to see.
This one's on you again, Coach.
Frisco Shields. This is my dog. The Rangers are the new soccer team, not Leeds United. Yes, that's true. The Yorks are also trying to buy the Tampa Bay Rays. Yes. The 49ers are very busy, bro, as a conglomerate, as a major company. So not just the 49ers football team, but the 49ers corporation. They are in bed with a lot of pro sports entities. And yeah, they are circling the wagons on pouring money into the football team. They're not the golden child anymore. When we were in our Super Bowl window, there were a lot of guys who got paid a lot of money. That time is up now. So now the Niners are focused on putting together very strong regular seasons and getting to the playoffs, and then letting the tournament see how it falls out for the foreseeable future.
This is a really good super chat. This one's on you again.
Oh yeah, Cinnamon Kiss. This is my girl. Question. Exactly when did BA stop showing up? Wasn't he coming into the building preparing at some point for week 1, also helping coaches with other receivers? Yes, that was the period in which the guarantees were already voided in July. So there was this period of time where we were hearing reports about BA as a model student. He's coming into meetings, helping everybody out. BA's ready to go. And in a sense, I do believe that maybe that was the period of time where they had voided the guarantees in the summer, but nobody knew about the guarantees. And I think that there was some type of track where maybe BA thought, okay, could go either two ways. One, either I can get back in their good graces and get the guarantees back, and they didn't report it, so no harm, no foul. Or two, they keep the guarantees voided, and I just become a model citizen and basically audition for my next team. Right? So when I finally do get on the field, I can move on. I think that when the report got leaked in November, all bets were off. That's when it's like, okay, so my reputation's out there. You guys have let it go. You guys have put it out there that you voided my guarantees and you gave the reason why. So what do I need to be here for? You're not paying me. You're not playing me. I'm healthy, according to what people were saying at the time, that I'm ready to go to get ramped back up. And now you're burying me and trying to trade me at the same time. I'm gone. The thing that kills me about that is all of this was self-inflicted. If Brandon Aiyuk does one thing and one thing only, all of this is saved. Bring your ass to work. You just got to go to work. Show up. That's it. Rehab, go to work. They voided your guarantee. They couldn't have voided your guarantees if you just went to work. All right, let's say you didn't go to work for rehab. Now they took the voided guarantees. Show up. Show up. If the report comes out in November that Brandon Aiyuk's guarantees have been voided, do you know how bad the 49ers would have looked? Do you know what our fan base would have done to the 49ers if we would have had to watch a healthy Brandon Aiyuk standing on the sidelines for the remainder of the season? If he would have just showed up, it would have been to the point where we would have been so disgusted by the Niners taking this dude's money away for not showing up for rehab, and he's been here the whole time, and he went through camp, and you still didn't give him his money back? If he would have just stayed, the Niners would have been forced to bring him and put him where he wanted to go. It was BA who ghosted the Niners and gave them more ammunition to write the narrative. You see? We voided his guarantees in the summer because he wouldn't show up. Where's he at now? I've never heard anything. Then you allow Kyle to get up there and say things that are inflammatory.
Right.
I've never
seen anything like this in over 20 years.
This is the craziest thing ever. I've never seen anything like this. And it's like BA is giving them all of that leeway to play in our face. So for me, when people say that I'm being too rough on BA or that we're kind of like stepping and fetching and like shilling to the man, I'm holding him accountable. I'm talking to him like I talk to my damn brother who was I would tell him like, boy, you are stupid. Go to work. You too proud to go collect your money? So you gonna get on YouTube, my man? You a content creator now? Come on, bruh. Like, make it make sense. So it's like, I know we get caught up in like the NFL game, but if you marry this situation to anybody who's got to wake their ass up tomorrow morning and go to work, you and I both know if you no call, no show, your ass is fired. We know that. All right? Brandon Aiyuk's got to know it too.
This one's on you as well.
Sean for the win. Coach, you called it. BA doesn't love football. He hit the lottery. 4 years of football and natural talent. He lucked into Herm Edwards, who happened to be connected. You love Jay Daniels and more than $120 million a year. Enough said. Yeah. I mean, football, BA hasn't played football a long time. I mean, I need to understand why he really wants to do this. So, look, I wish him the best, but he got to just fill out his paperwork. As Jay-Z said, my homeboy Strick told me, finish your breakfast. Finish your breakfast, BA. You got to handle your business.
Yep. This one is on you as well.
No, it's not. Lilo and Stitch.
Yep.
If the 49ers were smart, they'd use Aiyuk's $18 million fund to most of the city's estimated 20 to 25 million substation relocation. Fans would love it. Dude, the substation is crazy, bro. It's ridiculous.
That's wild. This was on you as well.
Sean for the win. Y'all don't think BA burning bridges, talking about Lynch like that, white boy on the porch language on the internet is biting the hand that feeds you as a person? I don't think he plays again. Yeah.
He called himself because he called him a boy first.
Called him a boy.
Then he changed it to man, white man. But yeah, he was, I mean, BA was definitely tripping. And that's why I said the language used in that video, if the 49ers were even, because all these talking heads, the Adam Schefters and all these different reports of that they're going to release him soon. I don't think they're releasing him at all, personally. And then if they were on the fence about it, and then they saw that shit from Saturday, I'm not doing it.
We ain't doing it.
Yeah.
Nah. I could see Jed calling John and them now, like, all right, scrap all this shit. He moves when I say something. I'm going to Rome. I'll be back in a month. like just some straight, just some straight rich boy shit. Like, what's going on with BA? He said what?
What? Yeah.
I'll listen. I'm on the fucking F9, right? I'm in Rome now. I'll be there in a month. Then we'll handle this. Like, bro, VA is getting caught up, bro.
This was on you too.
Eaton Moon. The precedent here is that a team can steal $30 million from a player and hold them hostage. On top of that, NFLPA got work to do. I'll tell you this: the NFLPA is the weakest professional sports players union in sports history. If there is ever an organization as inept as the NFLPA, I have not seen it. All right. The NFLPA will not do anything. All right. They do not stand up for the players as strongly as they should. The NFLPA is notoriously inept. So if you think the NFLPA is going to come in and handle a situation for Brandon Aiyuk, you are sorely mistaken, because they've dropped the ball historically for players. They don't do it. The fact that the Niners are still able to hold on to Brandon Aiyuk this long into the new year is because of the NFLPA, because of the CBAs, because they sit up every year after year and they do not put in clauses that keep teams from doing this to players. So I'm sorry.
It's so much money involved that when every 10 years, because the CBA lasts 10 years, every time we get to a new negotiation period with the CBA, the players make certain concessions, and it feels like vanity stuff. Like, hey, we can't practice but X amount of times in the off season, and we can only have X amount of padded practices, and it's stuff that you think, okay, bro, that's cool, but like,
that's not important.
That's not as important as some of this other stuff that's in here that you let these owners get away with. But it's ultimately so much money at stake. Like baseball, they're going on strike next year. Like, I don't know if enough people follow baseball to understand. This is 1994 all over again. They're going on strike.
And they want more money. They're not playing.
They're not going to give in to, the demands of these owners. The NFL, you're not going to see them ever. Because dudes, first of all, baseball players have way more money, right? Basketball players have way more money and way more leverage because they have money. Yeah. Like, if we need to sit out, we can. Football players can't do that. It's
maybe
like
the top 10% of every roster can sit out.
5 dudes. It's 5 guys in every locker room that can say, hey, I can weather this storm. The rest of these dudes need their money. They are out of money. By the time they get to training camp, they need that check. They need that check because they've already run through all of their money. Because you got to remember, these guys aren't getting paid all year long. They get paid during the season. Okay? So by the time that season is over with, by the time they get back to the football field in the summertime, they don't have any money left. They need that money. So it's a pretty big deal, like their union not being as strong as some of the others. But it's It's because of what's at stake.
Yeah, and stuff like this is always going to be one-offs because of like you said, Lou. I love the fact that you highlighted that it's what they prioritize at the CBA. They prioritize lighter practices, more time to themselves, more autonomy to basically be NBA players. They want to be able to show up and just play the game and have rest, but they don't tackle the hard things like universal health care, lifetime health care for all players,
Right.
you know, like guaranteed contracts. You know, it's a shame that Kirk Cousins was the first fully guaranteed quarterback in NFL history, while we sat up here and lauded Tom Brady for being a team guy for his entire career.
Exactly.
And come on, man. And like the only people that he was actually helping were his literal teammates that were inside of the locker room with New England. But as far as the quarterbacks around the rest of the league and the rest of the players in the league, Tom Brady was screwing over his players.
He was hurting them.
He was hurting them year after year after year. When he was the best quarterback in the league, bar none, he should have been fleecing the NFL. He should have been forcing them to pay quarterbacks the money that they deserve. And Tom Brady sat back and he played ball. He got money that he needed. He sweetened up his peripheral deals with all of his sponsorships and his lifestyle. That's where by the way,
he can do that.
Yeah, go ahead.
He can, because he can make money outside of the football field.
There you go.
So I can take less because I'm going to make that and then some off the field. He was more about prioritizing his legacy. Whatever I got to do to win, I'm gonna still make my money on the back end. I ain't tripping, right? I'm gonna make mine, but I'm gonna try to make sure that I'm able to help put the best team around me so I can keep winning these Super Bowls, so I can be the GOAT.
It doesn't hurt to be married to Giselle either at the time, who's
that
a
doesn't hurt
multi-million-dollar supermodel.
That doesn't hurt. That does not hurt at all.
Yeah.
That does not hurt. This was all you.
Frisco shows Mr. Commanders, is Kyle a genius?
Offensively, yes, he is. And you can say what you want about Kyle. And I talked about Kyle's, like, I haven't met a coach GM that has worked yet. And Kyle hasn't worked. The one of the first guys to get that kind of autonomy was what was my man name in Seattle? Mike Holmgren, right? That shit didn't work. Ron Rivera got that autonomy here in Washington. That shit didn't work. It does not work when you're the head coach, because a GM's job is to focus on now, but also the broader picture, right? Down the road, and keep a head coach's job is right now. I don't care about next year. I don't care about 2 years from now. I just care about right now. It's hard to ask one man to do both of those things. And I look at Kyle and I see a guy that has failed as a GM, right? Hell, people were criticizing the draft this year, killing them for the draft that they turned in this year, because Kyle is
one of them.
Kyle doesn't care about what the value of the pick is. He just cares about guys that fit his system, right? And he doesn't care when he takes them. My mantra has always been, get your guy when you feel the need to get your guy, because beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? But there is a thing about, hey, you don't have to take this player in the 3rd round if you can get him in the 6th round, right? There's got to be somebody way more talented that can help your football team in the 3rd round, and you can wait till the 6th round or the 5th round to get you. But you don't know what other teams are thinking. Like, if I don't take this guy, like, for instance, I don't take Kalen Black here in the 3rd round, and I don't know, I might not get him in the 4th round. Trust me, no one was taking Kalen Black in the 3rd.
That was a reach of all reaches.
Yeah, 4th or 5th round. Okay, you could have gotten Kalen Black in the 6th round, but he wanted his guy. Whatever. Okay, the thing with Kyle is no matter what you give him offensively, he's still going to make it work. He's whiffed on receiver after receiver. He just needs a couple of pieces. This is why he keeps playing Trent Williams, whatever he asks for. This is why he went and traded for Christian McCaffrey. This is why George Kittle is so vital to what they do, because he just needs a few pieces. You give him a few parts and he'll make it work. You know, I watched the 49ers go out to LA with Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne, the Bourne identity. And put up about 30 some odd points and win in overtime.
Mac threw for over 40. He threw the ball over 40 times.
What are we talking about, bro? Like, are you kidding me?
Yo,
I saw Kyle go on the road with a beat up squad. And granted, the Eagles weren't shit this year, but it doesn't matter. Kyle took a beat up 49ers team with on their 6th string linebackers, right? Dudes we never heard of.
Garrett Wallow off the street.
Off the street, bro. And go into pull a damn, wide receiver pass out of the goddamn bag and go win a football game on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles. You can say what you want about Kyle. Kyle can scheme up some offense, though.
Also, Kyle knows how to surround himself with good coaches because a lot of that was Robert Saleh.
But you got to identify.
You got to Yep. I'll give him that. You got to pick the groceries.
Yeah.
But one thing he does is he does keep quality coaches around him.
Yep.
He does.
That's what the best in the business do. Mm-hmm. Sean McVay, how many people get hired off of Sean McVay's staff? He has an eye for talent because
he poached.
The next guy's got to be ready because I know they're coming to get my guys. And so you got to have another guy. I think that is a
misnomer for coaching staffs that pretty much suck. It's like if we're not winning and nobody's leaving to get other jobs, I think that's where fans should start asking, like, do you guys suck?
Yeah.
Because somebody should be leaving, right? Like somebody should be getting hired.
If you're talented, they should be coming after your stuff.
They should be coming to get your guys. Mm-hmm. Period.
This one's on you.
Eaton Moon, my guy. FYI, BA never bucked off in SF during the season. Solid during practice and game day. Please emphasize that, coach. No BS, but isolated red shorts, please. Look, so he didn't. Like, during the season, he was there. He was around. When they took the money, we were getting reports that, like, Brandon Aiyuk is a model citizen. He's been showing up. He's rehabbing. He's ready. He's gearing up to come back. And I do believe that that's when he believed that there was a carrot in front of him, which was, well, it can't be that serious because they didn't announce it, and I'm here, and I'm pretty sure because of how the dynamics in the building work, BA was probably getting assurances through the coaching staff. That's why it's so crazy to me now how he's going on Kyle now, because I know as soon as they took that money, Kyle is the first person that BA called, like, yo, what is going on? What happened? And I believe that maybe, you know how I think that maybe Kyle doesn't want to maybe admit to players that he doesn't have the cachet in the organization fiscally as much as he used to. And Kyle probably like, hey, man, just keep showing up, be here, be a ball player, be a teammate, be a pro, be a leader. And sooner or later, I'll smooth something out down the road and we'll see what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that got away from Kyle. People in the organization released it. And I believe that was pretty much one of the first times where Brandon doesn't know who to trust, because it's almost kind of like being in a toxic family where the mother and the father, they use the child against each other. So they're both lying to him. They're not telling him the full story. Right. And a lot of times they'll posture as if they have power that they don't necessarily have because they're not good with their dad or they're not good with their mother. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's what happened with the Niners, where Brandon Aiyuk got caught playing sides and he started realizing that there are no sides and all of you guys are pretty much on the same side. And now I'm screwed over and I'm upset about that. And I think you don't stop showing up to work when that happens.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I think that's what a lot of Commanders fans are banking on, is that he was a model citizen until something happened. Clearly, something changed. And I know that we haven't heard one 49ers player come out and call him a bad teammate, said anything bad about BA. He just stopped showing up. That was it. That's the biggest charge, is that, hey, we saw him 1 minute and then
George said some slick shit.
But George, basically, everything George said was based off of him not showing up, ghosting them, right? George was like, I used to go out there and watch that. Right. Because he was like, he just ghosted us, bro. Like that was our boy. We loved him in the locker room, and then all of a sudden he was gone, and he never gave us a reason as to why. Like, we don't even know what happened. But George said, I would go out and watch him early, warm up. And he's running 22 miles an hour and stopping on a dime. Mm-hmm. He said, but again, like, I haven't seen this dude in a year and a half play ball, so I can't tell you. So good luck with that. That's basically what George was saying. Like, I don't know, because I haven't seen this dude. and can't nobody get in contact with him, and he's not talking to anybody. So, again, no one has ever said anything bad about BA. So, not player wise, I'm referring to.
True.
Base for Zion. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Base for Zion writes, preach. He loves when somebody talk about running the football. So you struck a chord with him.
I'm addicted to running the ball.
You know, oh my God. Smash mouth is the way to win. Plow, blow. Folks, finally realizing my forever stance. Cliff was trash and anti-football. Watch us win. Yeah, no, he loves.
I feel the passion through the super chat.
Look, man. You start talking about running the ball, his antennas go up.
Yeah, man. It's the only way it's American Express. You can't leave home without it. You got to go with the run game, baby.
He loves it. So you definitely was speaking to him and his spirit when you said that. This one's on you.
Coach, you are 100% wrong. I love you, Shills. I sent you all the reporting. He was there the entire time. Kittle just confirmed it. BA left in December. So, Shills, this is the only problem I have, is that if he was there the entire time, then Brandon Aiyuk should have been filed a grievance. And if he didn't file a grievance, then why didn't his agent file the grievance? And if the Niners wrongfully voided Brandon Aiyuk's guarantees, then that should be the priority of the conversation. Not why isn't he coming back and why does he want to go to the Commanders? If I was Brandon, why would I not go back to recoup my money? Why? Why would you take that laying down? If they took the money and you were wrongfully accused of doing something that you did. So if he was there the entire time, then what's Brandon Aiyuk's motivation for staying there all the way until November, knowing that the Niners wrongfully took the money from him? Why? I don't know.
You could stay there if you planned on recouping that money. Like,
thank you.
No. I've been here this entire time, and you guys wrongfully took my money from me, and I want my money back. And I've been here the entire time. But to leave, and then, so there's a report out there, and again, we don't know what to believe with some of this stuff because everything's all over the place, and there's a bunch of random stories, and so you don't know who to believe, what to believe. But there's a report out there that he told the NFLPA to not file a grievance on his behalf, because he wanted out at that point. He didn't want to go after the money. He simply just wanted out of the organization. So that was like the basis for.
That's even crazier, Lou.
Yeah,
if that's true, though.
If that's true, I don't know if that's true or not. And that was so a lot of people have been saying the whole throwing the money on the floor out of the bag was symbolic of him walking away from the 49ers money, because not all money is good money. Walking away from that money, wanting to go somewhere else, willing to walk away from $30 million to make a point that I don't want to be there. That's essentially, I've heard that. I don't know if it's true or not, but again, I wouldn't put anything past BA at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, listen, it's very artful and you know what I'm saying? I don't know what else to say.
This
reminds me of the praise dance worshipers who be miming. Today we're gonna have this selection from Brother Aiyuk. He's gonna come down and give us a rendition of
Walking
Money
Away.
Don't Control My Soul. Walking away from toxicity. BA come down with the white mom face in the gloves. Too Much Sauce 33. Is Mike McDaniel a Hall of Famer? Not yet.
Is that a real question?
He's on the track. Yeah.
It's a real question?
True. Yeah, he's not a Hall of Famer.
He's not even close to being a Hall of Famer.
He could be there, though. I mean, he's got a good trajectory, man. I love what he does on that defense, bro.
We talk about the same Mike McDaniel? Talking about
the head coach of the Seahawks, right?
No. He's talking about that's Mike McDonald.
That's McDonald. Yeah.
Who's Mike Daniel is the offensive coordinator for the Rams now. He was the head coach of the Dolphins.
Oh, Mikey? Not Mikey. No.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man. I'll tell you this. He's got an opportunity to do something. He has an opportunity to do something special. he's with Coach Harbaugh, where Coach Harbaugh loves the offensive line. They love that run game out there.
Yeah.
I think with Justin Herbert, Mike McDaniel and those boys, they could do a lot of damage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I just think that Coach Harbaugh, I think that he needs kind of like an update into the 21st century. He's a little stale.
Yeah, no, he needs a software update.
Yes,
and I think that's what Mike is going to give him. He's going to give him that software update he needs, because he was stuck in the 90s. There's certain coaches who they just always done it a certain way, and they just don't know how to do it another way. So you need other guys to come in and show you how to do it a different way. And like he's more of a Greg Roman. Like that was such a Jim Harbaugh hire, right? Go get Greg Roman. Running three tight ends out here.
Running 3 tight ends,
right? Don't throw the ball to the receivers, that sort of thing. That was such a Harbaugh hire, and he realized, like, we can't win anymore like this. It's gotta upgrade it.
It's gonna be interesting seeing Mike McDaniel unleashed with Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
Justin Herbert really hasn't had somebody as smart as Mike McDaniel.
Facts.
It's gonna be interesting.
Facts. Big facts.
Frisco, you my dog, man. Coach, I sent you the reporting too. You did. BA didn't file a grievance because he was told it would make him more tradable. It goes to the agent misrepresentation and failures of the NFLPA reps. But they're going to have to file that. They really are. And if he didn't, if it would make him more tradable, then why was he upset when the Niners released the information that they took the grievances? I mean, that they took the money. He could have just kept coming to work. Just keep showing up. That's all. You're getting paid. Nobody stopped paying you. Just keep coming to work. That's all you have to do. Even if we'll go your way, Frisco. Let's say the Niners took this money and BA kept and BA did not miss any days, and they took the money. Still keep coming to work. Still keep showing up. All right. As a matter of fact, still keep showing up, and then do you one better. Fire your agent. Fire his ass. And stay with the Niners. Oh, you don't want to tell me that they found a loophole to take my voided guarantees? Well, I'm firing your ass, and I'm still coming to work. Like, there's so many different ways. How many ways we shift this, you can't get around Brandon Aiyuk not showing up to his multi-million-dollar job. I'm sorry. We just can't get around that.
101 Dumars. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Right. Adam Peters had a time machine and wanted BA. You think he'd give them a 6-rounder and for their 7th and avoid all of this? He burned bridges here now too. I mean, I was of the mindset that I'm not giving the 49ers a damn thing for Brandon Aiyuk. Like, they clearly were playing hardball, like, because they knew no one was giving them anything for Brandon Aiyuk. When they did the whole thing where Jed York was saying one thing, and Kyle and John Lynch had already proclaimed that this man had already played his last snap as a 49er, and Jed York's like, hey, you never know what could happen. Like, we'll see what happens, but we can. Brandon Ayuk's a great player. Of course, he's supposed to say all of those things if they're trying to trade him. Ultimately, they knew they weren't getting anything for him. They knew he was an untradeable asset.
He's untradeable.
And so at that point, I'm not going to give you anything for it, because I've already said this. I'm not giving in to terrorist demands, right? We don't make deals with terrorists. They were conducting themselves as terrorists at that point because they knew they weren't going to get anything for him. And now they're just saying, you know what? And Kyle, when he said this was it for me. I'm not going to release him so he can help himself, right? Help him get to another team, basically, right? Yeah. Not gonna help you get to where you ultimately want to go, which is you wanted to come to Washington. Not helping y'all. So you knew what you were doing because you knew you weren't going to get anything for him. You knew you couldn't trade him. You knew he was of no value to you. You knew he's not a part of your team. You don't want him anymore. Then just release him, right? They could have attached the June 1 post June 1 designation on him, which would have allowed them to split the money into 2 years, and they could have gone about their business, right? They didn't do that because they didn't want to do that because they want to make Brandon Aiyuk pay. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm not of the mindset of giving them anything, because while we want Brandon Ayuk, we won't want him that bad that we got to give you something for him. And even that's a late pick swap. Don't care. Not giving you
I
anything.
wouldn't give one. If I was you guys, I'm 100% with you. I wouldn't give 1 red cent for Brandon Ayuk. He's your problem.
Yep.
Part
Not
of the
giving him.
problem,
Yep.
part of the issue with all of this is that you guys signed him and you know you shouldn't have. That's the worst kept secret in the NFL right now, is that the deal within of itself was a bad deal to begin with. All right. That's like you having a woman, all right, your girlfriend, she cheats on you 3 times. You catch her at a strip club and she's all over the place. And then you go get a ring talking about well, we got all the bad stuff out of our system. Hopefully the marriage will work out. No. Everybody knows that this was a bad deal. The negotiations were screaming that this was a bad deal. All right. And the Niners, they tried to rip the Band-Aid off. And the truth is that Brandon Ayuk screamed. That's what it is. They tried to rip the Band-Aid off and get it out of here. And now they're dealing with a player who's like, nah, I'm not just going to die. I know y'all don't want to sign me, but I ain't just going to die. But he's going about it in a very immature way. So that's what this really is. The Niners don't know how to throw away their trash. It's like you guys got to clean up your own mess.
And to add to that, just as an aside, and you don't want to inherit the contract, even though you can go back in and restructure or rip it up, and he's got to agree to all that, which he would if he wanted to come to Washington. It's still, you have to deal with that contract. You're taking on a bad contract that the 49ers signed him to. You don't want any parts of that. If you're going to bring Brandon Ayuk on board, you want to be able to do it on your terms as a free agent, signing him to a deal that makes sense for your organization. So that, on top of the fact that I'm not giving up anything, is the reason you don't trade for Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
This one's on you.
Eaton Moon, also, they didn't reactivate him. Healthy scratch, didn't let him get back on the field because they wanted him healthy to trade. That broke the camel's back. True.
Yeah. I think that might have been the thing that
where he started seeing it.
Yeah. Like, I think that's what because for the longest, we were kind of following it from afar, not because we were interested in Brandon Ayuk. We just figured he'd be back soon, right? Like, we kept hearing Lynch kept giving us updates. He's getting close. And so we kept thinking at some point, and Brandon Ayuk's going to be back, right? Like, the 49ers have had all these injuries early in the season, but look, Brandon Ayuk's about to be back. Ricky Pearsall's about to be back. Brock Purdy's about to be back. All of a sudden, you're thinking, man, the 49ers might be the team to beat. Yeah, they might be the team to beat out there if they get all their stuff back and they stay relatively healthy with the way Christian McCaffrey's playing the start to the season that he's had. Look out for the 49ers. And then it just went crickets. And then all of a sudden it turned from Ayuk is about to return to where's Brandon Ayuk to we don't know where Brandon Ayuk is. To we took away his guarantees and we're like, wait, what?
That was the facetious part. We're like, man, we just don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
Where could he be? It's like, dude, you guys know where he's at. You guys, you released that. You released the news. Yeah. He's pissed.
Yep.
Go find him.
Yep.
So.
That's crazy. All right. So that was the last super chat. We really appreciate y'all for holding us down, man. This has been a ton of fun, Coach. There's so many layers to this, and it's just crazy to see how this is all unfolded. And we still don't know what the resolution to this is going to be. I think we both agree right now, though, as it stands, unless something drastically changes, that Brandon Ayuk isn't playing football in 2026. That's where it's kind of heading right now.
Yeah.
And unless something changes, whether it's the way he's deciding to go about business or the 49ers, to your point, just saying, all right, F this. We don't want to deal with this shit anymore.
We're over it.
Yeah, we're over it. And we're just going to cut him, right? I don't see that. I think neither one of us see that as the
the last video was too real for TV, dog. Yeah. When he slowed it down, like everything else, just the format was a little too much. Like everything else was like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, kind of like quick hitters. Yeah. Some of them he wasn't even talking. Yeah. But my man sat down and gave a dissertation like, so let me tell you how I really feel. It's like, so this how we playing?
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So
they might have let him slide with the female dog. Stop acting like a cat. Like they might have let you slide with that.
That could have slid.
calling me predator, and you talking about, oh man, yeah, nah.
Nah,
All right, I
dog.
got something for you now. Don't worry.
I got to see you, dog.
Yeah.
I
Don't
need
worry
the
about
fair. I wouldn't be surprised if John put him as like, yo, set it up, dog. I need the fair one. BA, I need the fair one.
You got to catch this fade, man.
You gotta catch this fade.
Set
Before
it
we
up.
talk about one contract, nigga,
Yeah.
you gotta see me, dog.
Yeah,
You got to
set
see
it
me.
up, man. Set it up. Oh man.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach, it's been a blast, man. Tell all
This was
the
a good one, brother.
viewers on my side of things where they can find your work.
Oh, you guys can find me at the Coaches Huddle, where the field meets family. Come on over to the Coaches Huddle. What we do is we cover Niners content. We have a lot of fun doing it. We have regularly scheduled lives, 1 hour per day, and we sneak in some videos every now and then. The crown jewel of the Coaches Huddle is our live watch show parties. I mean, we really have a great time. It's a community-based feel. I try my best to answer any chat that I know, especially people that I notice. And we sit back and we just have a good old time, man. So come on over to the Coaches Huddle, and you'll be able to see a lot of our content. And we have a great time.
Hey, man, I appreciate you for jumping on tonight and making some sense of this Brandon Aiyuk saga. It's been wildly entertaining. We call it as the Aiyuk turns around these parts, man. And it's been just episode after episode after episode. And we can't get enough. And we know he's not done. There will be more. Now he's turned his attention to the NFLPA. So we'll see where that road leads. But ultimately, I don't think any of these roads, as of right now, and again, I hope I'm wrong, lead to him being a Washington Commander in 2026. And that's all I care about, to be honest with you, is are you going to find a way out of San Francisco and into the building of the Washington Commanders? And that does not feel like it's going to happen. If his mindset is what it feels like it is and what he said it is, then it doesn't feel like it's going to come to fruition. But I digress, man. It's been a pleasure to chop it up with you, and we've got to do this again. Our two teams meet in week 6.
Oh, we got to, we got to do a little bit of a, prequel, a little bit of pre-show.
Yeah, we definitely.
I'm interested to see where y'all stand in week 5.
Yeah.
So we gotta hook up.
Yeah, we definitely have to link and see, where our teams are and chop it up before that one. That should be a lot of fun, especially if somehow, some way Brandon Aiyuk is on this roster.
Oh my God. If Brandon Aiyuk, we got to do a whole marathon stream, dog. If Brandon Aiyuk comes to the Commanders, we're going to have a great stream, Lou. It's going to be cool, bro.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun, man. It should be epic. But until then, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. That's the coach, man, and we appreciate y'all for kicking it with us. Y'all have a good one. Take care. Peace.